Hey everyone, you're listening to the official podcast of 4PlayerNetwork.com. Check us out at that address for everything you need to know about our community, monthly giveaways, and nightly live streams. You can even support us on Patreon at patreon.com/4Player. And last but not least, you can catch the live recordings of these podcasts every single Thursday night on our Twitch channel. We hope to see you there. Enjoy.
Can I just say that she was a bad person?
You're a bad person.
No, she was a bad person.
You fucking knob.
Was she actually a bad person?
She was an actual bad person.
No, she was someone doing her job that lied to her husband.
What was the job?
I'm not, okay, I'm sorry.
What was the job?
Whoa, wait a minute.
No,
No, you put it out there.
I know.
She
Please
was
record
just
the podcast.
doing her job.
Shut up.
Nicholas, supporter of the Third Reich, Henderson.
What the
I'm sorry.
Well, I'm glad I got
wasn't
that on
fair.
the camera.
That wasn't fair. You were just doing your job.
Holy fucking shit.
That's how we're starting this episode.
We may need to turn Chris Davis down a little bit.
We need...
Or I can just move the mic away a little bit.
Can we go back in time 10 minutes?
Oh yeah, sure. I'll just hit the switch. Holy shit. Alright, ready? I'm going to move at a breakneck pace.
Breakneck?
I'm going to be moving at a breakneck pace during this episode of 4Player Podcast. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. It's episode 526 of 4Player Podcast. My name is Nick Henderson. I am joined this evening by Christopher Guthridge,
Hello.
Nolan Hedstrom,
How's it going, everybody?
and Christopher Wrong Choice Davis.
Whoa!
I'm sorry.
Starting shit already.
I'm not bringing
You
that...
said we weren't going to do this.
I know. I'm not bringing that energy into the podcast.
Wow.
We had the Resident Evil 7 discussion a year ago. I'm going to just go ahead and reference all the way back to January or February or whatever. If you want to hear why Chris Davis is
Right. Why I'm
incorrect,
right.
go back and listen.
You chose poorly.
This turned into a major conversation in Discord today, but that's neither here nor there. We have a lot to talk about today, so I'm going to not waste too much time. Fucking Super Mario Odyssey is out. Assassin's Creed Origins is out. Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus, is out.
Yes.
We're going to talk about all three of those in the show. Jack will be joining us, I believe, next week to talk more about Wolfenstein 2, so that's exciting. But before we do that, obviously, I want to plug a few things and read some feedback from our last episode. Real quick, if you're a supporter of us on Patreon, as you may have noticed last week, Patreon supporters now get the podcast episode the day after it's recorded without any ads via the RSS feed on Patreon. So if you're a supporter at any level, that's $1 or higher, you'll get 24-hour early access to the podcast. It goes live for everybody else on Saturday mornings. And of course, Discord, as I just mentioned, is a great place to have conversations about nerd shit and tell Chris Davis how wrong he
right
is.
I am.
Discord.gg/4player is a great place to do all of those things. But before we get started on all the cool, sweet new games, I want to read some feedback from last week. We actually got a lot of it. I might, depending on how fast these move, I might not read all of them today, but we'll see where it takes us. Of course, if there's anything that we talk about tonight that you'd like to chime in on, please leave us a comment at 4playernetwork.com. I'm sorry,
You were going to say
I
if
was-
you want to leave a comment about Resident Evil 7.
Yeah, I was going to go
I knew
there,
you were going to do it.
but I'm not going to. Anyways, Turbo Maw says,
He's a good person.
y'all are nodding. It's not great for the audio.
Oh, sorry. I'm nodding.
It's
Okay.
fine for the video.
Hey guys, this is my favorite time of the year, not because of all the AAA releases, but because 2 days ago, it finally happened. Chris Davis sent out the top 10 games of 2017 email. He did.
Yeah.
He straight up did.
How did Turbomo know this?
Because he always talks
Chris
about
Davis
November
gloated
1st.
about it.
November 1st. How do you guys usually react when the email shows up in your inbox?
I delete it.
I usually go into a mild panic mode. I will give him this. He did modify our due dates this year and all this stuff, which is great because we weren't going to hit those old dates anyway. So thank you for seeing me.
As long as we get these videos out before February,
How about March? How about before March?
I will fucking stab you.
Before 2019.
Yeah, so we definitely got the email. I'm not going to have my list, although I have a working list, but that's not going to be ready until I finish some more games. I would also like to wish our homie Pokop a late happy birthday. Pocop, I believe, is in chat tonight.
Ding.
I'm not personally. I'm not familiar with when his birthday was, but happy belated
He had a
birthday.
birthday earlier this
birthday,
week.
Pocop.
Happy birthday, Pocop.
Equack says companies like EA need to always be spending a lot of money to make money. This is why they're interested in making large investments that can give massive returns. If they were to spread that money across, say, 10 times as many projects with a tenth of the budget each, their earning potential would probably go down. You see the exact same thing happen with movies, of course, and while studios will take a few bets on medium-budget movies, they wouldn't be able to sustain themselves on them. This is true. Also, to chime in on AAA single-player games dying, I'll be the cynic and say that the majority of them sort of lost me already with design by committee decisions. The few studios with integrity in their design, like id and CD Projekt Red, will continue to fly that flag. First of all, that first statement he made, very true about budgets. There's definitely a reason that they pump so much money into these
that's true.
big projects. But to comment on, I don't necessarily... I'm not quite as cynical as he is about the state of AAA single-player games, but I do agree with the whole decisions or development by committee thing. Like,
Yeah.
there's so many instances of just like...
Well, not even like decisions by committee, but like decisions based on market research and focus groups.
Right.
those have a place.
Get me
but,
in
like,
that focus group.
Yeah,
They'll know
those
what's up.
have a place for sure. But like to see projects like Amy Hennig's Star Wars, like Visceral's Star Wars project, literally, it sounds like the more they talk about it, the more it sounds like focus testing was like a major impact on that project.
There was a really good article about what was going on at
Yeah,
Visceral
I
leading
read
to the
that. It was
closure.
really
and
interesting.
Amy Hennig, like that game sounded like it was doomed.
Yeah,
no
yeah,
matter what.
there were a
in
lot
rough shape.
There were a lot, but when they were talking about the decision that was being made, like they specifically stated they brought up focus groups several times.
Yeah.
And which is
That was
it's always good to have focus groups definitely serve a purpose, but like to have that like maybe be the nail in a coffin for a particular game can.
I mean, I don't think it was necessarily like the nail in the coffin.
yeah.
I think it contributed to it. I think it's more... I think part of the problem with having to come out to a large audience that's really anticipating this game, and you're the publisher and you have to close this project, there's no good way to go about it. And so they got to do marketing speak, and they got to find a way to gently let us down. And they're never going to gently let us down.
I mean, especially the project this high profile.
Yeah.
Also, like, part of me feels like the focus testing might be one of the main reasons why this game was as they put it, pivoted and not outright canceled. Like the fact that
I think that
people
can
were
cause
like, we
issues,
want
though.
this, we just want it to be more like this.
I think that there's a fine line between pivoting your game and completely changing it based on feedback you get from someone. Those people might not be right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they weren't there when this game was conceived. They don't know the original concept of it. They just know the slice you give them. And I've definitely seen issues in the past where like small focus groups have kind of like you don't really understand it. You know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't be surprised if something very similar happened with Star Wars 1313.
Yeah, you should definitely read up on that article.
I read that article. It's been a week or so since I read it, but thank you, Equack. Tobley says Black Flag was mentioned at the end, and all people ever remember from that game is the ship aspect, which paints an inaccurate picture when you are stuck playing one of the countless annoying tailing missions that the game presents you with, which was one of the main things I took away from my experience when I played through it recently.
So I think we've talked about this, and we talked about it when it was first out. That yes, those tailing missions are there, and they still suck.
Pretty
Yeah.
bad.
And thankfully, there are much fewer of them compared to previous games.
I think just because the nature of the ship combat and the sailing and everything just being so much fun that people naturally spent way more time doing those kinds of things.
There was also the thing that, versus like Unity, which came out after, they had that feedback system for every mission.
Yeah.
So you could grade how people
You want
were
to talk
liking
about
it.
focus testing?
Yeah.
That right
That
there
is.
was a fucking myopic example of it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I can see the utility in having something like that, like players finishing a mission and then immediately telling you, how did you feel about that? Did you like it? Would you like to see more of it in future Assassin's Creed games? But there's just something so like
jarring.
far removed from the idea of an artistic vision in having like just this like open democracy of ideas and concepts and stuff like being voted on by the player base like while they're playing it. Like I thought that was kind of a nice step as far as Ubisoft demonstrating that they're trying to listen to people, but like I couldn't help but feel really like skeeved out by the whole thing.
I mean,
you know?
honestly, like when Equac brought up the whole thing about design by committee, like I think the first thing that popped in my head was Assassin's Creed, and for me though, it was more more about like the modern day stuff. They seem to like really get freaked out by some people's negative reaction to that stuff, and instead of like trying to get it back, steer back on track, they were just like, let's just downplay it like crazy for like several games.
To the point to where it has no significance whatsoever.
I mean, I'm going to talk about Assassin's Creed Origins here, but it seems like they're bringing it back in a pretty significant way. So far, I haven't played enough of it, but
really,
what about
that
the
goes
aliens?
against everything I've been hearing.
It definitely plays a bigger role than I was expecting.
Do the aliens play a bigger role?
I mean, I've only played like 13 hours.
They're the first civilization.
But like that's like it depends. Like that's the kind of shit that I'm interested in. I know a lot of people were not too high about that kind of thing, but like to have them like completely change that's one of the reasons why Assassin's Creed as a series is very inconsistent, and it's very like people like have trouble even trying to figure out what the series is even about anymore, because they're just like they started telling a story, and then the moment people kind of gave them some pushback, they were like, then let's just completely try and like sweep that under the rug, and that's just kind of.
Well, I think it's also a scenario where they found, via feedback from people that they definitely enjoyed the gameplay of it much less than they enjoyed the outside. So, granted, the first game or whatever, you didn't really do too much outside of the animus. Besides,
you were stuck in a room.
It was fucking just story dumps. That's all it was. Yeah. And so people didn't like that, and they got a little more involved. And honestly, by like 2 and 3, I did enjoy a little more what you were doing outside.
I really enjoyed pretty much all of the modern day stuff in the Ezio trilogies for the most part.
But it just like I understand why they took it out. It sucks that they
but it's weird because like for some think of Black Flag. Mm-hmm. There's modern day stuff in it, but it is very different.
Completely different, yeah. It's all that's the game first person one, right?
Yeah, and you're in a game development studio and that kind of thing, which is very, meta or whatever, and it's just very strange. And then to see them come back around with Origins, and now they're doing something that's like kind of more in line with what I remember from from the Ezio trilogy, like where they're trying to get into like the story happening in the modern day.
Correct.
Like it's weird. Like I feel like they've taken a break from that kind of stuff, and now they're kind of to be honest, once again, I haven't played. I'll talk about it in a bit, but I haven't played enough of it. It could peter off. I don't know. Okay. But
it can't.
It's just inconsistent. It's weird.
It can't be as badly done as it was in Unity, though.
I don't see. That's the only core Assassin's Creed game I've never played. I mean, sorry, not never played. I didn't see through to the end. Mm-hmm. Too many bugs.
It was fucking.
Although
terrible.
I could probably you could probably go back and play that now relatively.
I'm
easily.
sure they've patched
the shit out of it
to an extent. Yeah.
All right, Chai Tai. Let me help out Chris here. Chris Davis. He's a good kid, but sometimes he can't sell a product. The anime he was talking about is a good but dark show about. First of all, this is based off of the conversation we had about Blue Reflection.
This is Madoka Magica.
Madoka Magica. The anime he was talking about is a good but dark show about what would realistically happen if you ask teenage girls like Sailor Moon to risk their lives and take the burden of saving lives on their back. Wait, doesn't Sailor Moon take?
She does.
Risk their lives? I don't know.
Yeah, but that's like this is a more realistic take.
Okay.
She does fight evil by midnight.
It's a realistic
Moonlight.
take on magic girls.
No, I can't vouch for the style, though. It's the kind of show that you're better off watching in your room with a box of Twinkies than slowly figuring out if the person you're talking to likes anime before you bring it up.
What?
We were talking about how would you trying to sell that to someone,
Yeah. I'm surprised we're talking about this for a third week in a row.
Okay, moving on. Lil Corks says, hearing them talk about the DLC of Breath of the Wild, it seems like that DLC nailed it and is making an enticing and challenging new offering that will bring people back to the game. I commend Nintendo for not just tacking on some bullshit to make a few quick bucks. I would also like to shout out Respawn Entertainment for making DLC for Titanfall 2 free. Yep. Players should be rewarded for purchasing a developer's game, and I'm happy to see Respawn giving back to the community as a whole. That is great. It is wonderful, but you got to be realistic here. And some, like the reason you don't see that free DLC happening too often. Especially, like, I think Respawn thing is Respawn is a bit of a special case, and like upcoming Resident Evil 7 is a bit of a special case. They're giving it away to you for free because they were so late.
They're giving away some of it for free.
Some of it for free. But you got to realize, like, that's extra content. It wasn't developed just to give away to people. It was developed to continue to make that a profitable venture. So it's awesome when these things happen, but it is probably not something I would get used to. It's not like we should be rewarded for purchasing a developer's game, but I don't think it's realistic to expect to be rewarded with free DLC, especially like story DLC like you're seeing with Resident Evil 7 with and was Respawn's DLC, was it story based or was it just multiplayer?
It was multiplayer focused. They haven't done any single player yet.
That's why I was kind of shocked. Like the Resident Evil 7 DLC is a pretty strange case because it's like actual story content. Like it's like an extra chapter or two added on to Resident Evil 7, and like that's pretty hefty content. But they were planning on charging for that originally. They're just kind of trying to butter you up since they were so late.
Wait, no, they always said that Not a Hero was going to be free.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, they've always said it was going to be free.
Oh, really?
It's the Into Zoe and the Lucas stuff and the tapes, the banned footage that was paid for.
Oh,
the only content you got
I thought
for
it was
free.
I guess I misremember. I thought it was originally planned to be paid for, and then they whatever. But it's all right. You're right. They're confirming it in chat, so I don't think that's going to be a regular occurrence. It's kind of a strange thing, anyways. Let's see. Oh man, we got a lot of feedback this week. Lao Kung Pao says, just wanted to say that this has been one of the best podcast episodes I've seen in a while. Just wanted to make a little comment on what Reborn said. Remember, she quoted that manual. The DSM-5 is the official manual for mental disorders. It's the one and only go-to guide for explaining mental disorders, as well as how to help and cure said mental disorders. There you go. Have a good one. He's just dropping some knowledge on us.
Cool.
We weren't really sure what she was quoting, but it sounded official.
I don't even remember what we were talking about.
We were talking about loot boxes.
Yes, we were talking about the definition of addiction, and she had left a comment last week about that. So this was just further clarification on that. Gonzo Lude says, in response to Nolan saying that Little Caesars is terrible.
Yep, it is.
While I'm not saying that Little Caesars is great, it's one of those situations where you get what you paid for. I mean, $10 for a pizza is a steal in my book. I haven't had CC's since I don't live in Texas, so I can't critique them. In fact, the closest location from where I live is a 2-hour drive to Cincinnati.
Don't bother yourself for a 2-hour
However, Little Caesars...
if you're in the area.
Little Caesars...
Especially if that 2-hour drive ends in Cincinnati. Jesus.
However, Little Caesars deep dish pizzas are actually pretty damn good, especially the bacon-wrapped one. Drools heavily.
Bacon wrapped?
Oh, do you remember when they did that?
That's a thing?
You don't
That's
remember when they
apparently
did
a
that?
thing.
At Little Caesars?
Dude, live fast, die young, man.
One thing I'm a little...
Die real young.
I'm a little worried. $10 for a pizza is a steal? I feel like that's kind of normal price
Well,
for
didn't
a
they do
pizza.
like
Leave
those
a
$5
corpse full
hot
of
and readies
pizza.
for a while?
Unless you're just used to, like, when you think of pizza, you're used to getting, like, going to like a nice, like, I don't know, like a... Not like a fast food pizza place, like a pizza dive bar or whatever.
Business?
Like a
pizza business.
a pizzeria.
An establishment?
I don't know.
Sure.
An establishment where they serve beer and pizza, like,
But it has to serve beer.
not a chain. Well, of
beer.
course it has to serve
Do you
beer.
ever dunk your pizza in your beer?
Do you do that?
No.
Do you do that?
Yeah, like a good like IPA paired with
Exactly.
with a chewy high protein pizza crust or a high gluten pizza crust. Yeah,
The fuck are you talking about?
You guys are fucking weird.
it's fucking delicious.
Do you really know what I'm talking about?
No.
Like the whole pizza and milk thing?
What?
What?
That I've never heard
Have y'all
of.
never seen the internet?
No.
We've been on the internet. Wherever you've been, we haven't been.
There was this big thing on the fucking internet a couple of months ago about people yes, there was dipping their pizza in milk.
Maybe in the
Those
weird
people-
parts of the internet you go to.
Those people are fucking weird, and
I go
That's
to
not a-
internet.com.
That's not a thing. That's not a thing. People don't dunk their pizza in milk. I defy you to find one person who actually
first
does
of all,
that.
who dunks
What
their
is-
pizza in anything?
Also, what is at
Well,
internet.com? I have
Like,
to know now.
dessert pizzas are different.
No, I mean, like, you ever get a Papa John's pizza and dunk it in that, like, garlic butter?
Oh.
Or, like, marinara sauce? Or, like,
Why would you
ranch
dip...
sauce?
I don't want to say... First of all, why do you dip pizza in marinara sauce? It comes
Oh,
with...
my God, Nick.
Nick,
Pizza has
Because
marinara.
it's America and people like to dunk things.
You know what I like to do?
But I don't understand because pizza is made with tomato-based sauce. It has
Right.
basically has marinara on the pizza already.
There's a bunch of pictures of people
No, that's
dipping
not a
pizza in
thing.
milk.
That's just internet fake news. That's just not a thing. Get that out of here.
Oh my god.
The few times I order Papa John's, I like the honey mustard cups and dip that.
Honey
It's pretty good.
mustard
It's actually really good.
is weird.
I like honey mustard. What's wrong
You
with
should
that?
be
Our
ashamed.
last comment from last week comes from Moom.
Lord Moom.
All right. I don't know where to start. Your alt timeline conversation got me thinking, so here are a few alt timelines that wouldn't necessarily just become first-person shooters. That's right. This is a Patreon question.
They do usually become.
Timeline where Europe never colonized the Americas or the rest of the world. That would have turned out differently. Timeline where slavery never happened.
No.
Do you know how people lived back? Slavery is always going to
You
happen.
have to take that one all the way back to Mesopotamia.
You gotta go pretty far.
Yeah, if you say never, you have to go way back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back before there were people, pretty much.
Timeline where the Bolsheviks,
The Bolsheviks?
Bolsheviks
Yeah.
never took power. Is that in was that in Russia?
Oh, Nick.
I don't. I'm not a history buff. What
the
is this?
October Revolution of 1920.
Okay. Thank you, Chris Davis, for filling me in. Timeline where 9/11 never happened or was prevented. That would.
Airports would be a lot nicer.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Timeline where former Mexican states remain part of Mexico. All these are alternate
That would
timelines are
be
just like
a lot of America.
here's the thing about all these. Pretty much every alternate timeline he's offered here so far is like if this never happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's,
That's
how
kind
much.
of
like-
how
so
ultimate.
much
But how do you I mean,
But
Well,
if
what?
this-
But that's so
if this
vague because
had happened.
if
Well,
that
I mean, because the range of possibilities of what could happen is almost infinite.
yeah,
It's kinda hard just to
wanna-
say.
It's like if someone
What-
said, "Pitch me a game with an alternate timeline." You said, "What if this never happened?" You're like, "How about you give it
Hold
to me?
on.
What if this happened?
What if this
instead?"
happened, Nick? Alternate timeline where everyone forgot the Alamo.
Oh no! And then they wouldn't have built it right in the middle of San Antonio.
Right?
So weird.
they wouldn't have built it in the middle of San Antonio.
Timeline where U.S. never recovered from the Great Depression, but others did.
we
And
That
really
kind of
recover?
did happen
Yeah.
for a while.
Yeah.
That happened until World War II.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Europe recovered.
If
pretty
no one's
quickly.
And the
been
final one, and this
to the
is-
Alamo, it's actually really small.
It's
Just by the way,
Yeah, no,
incredibly.
don't go
small.
out of your way to like, oh, the Alamo.
no, it's like we went,
My father would fight you.
Robin and I went to San Antonio like 6 months ago, or whatever, and we're walking around, and she's like, "Where is it?" And I was like, "Right there."
Where's the
She's
rest
like-
of it?
She's like, "Oh,
That's
it's so small." Timeline. Okay, this is the most important one. Timeline where everyone who sat stood, and everyone who stood sat to wipe. That we made it all the way to the end of these. All the way to the end of this feedback from last week, and only one person brought that conversation up. I thought
that-
it was gonna be.
Is that like the dark reality?
I thought it was going to be nothing but comments on that
darkest
conversation
timeline?
last week. I was pleasantly surprised. Those are all interesting ideas. Thank you, Moom. But I'm not going to indulge that last one. So thank you for your feedback. If there's anything you want to comment on, of course, leave us a comment at 4playernetwork.com for this episode. We'll get to it at the beginning of next week. But next, we have video games to talk about. And since I'm the only one who's played Assassin's Creed, I'll save it for last. Where do you want to start? Big one?
Let's just do Mario.
I kind of wanted to
let's
start with
fucking-
Assassin's Creed.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
let's do Assassin's Creed.
Really?
Yeah.
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 Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah,
Just
get
get
out
it
there,
over with.
Nick.
All right, fine. Just reverse it on the host here.
Yeah.
there you go.
Assassin's Creed Origins. By the way, let me go ahead and apologize profusely for this footage. I discovered last. I cannot record footage for this game to
As you
save my
normally
life. Yeah. So how about we just open it up for questions? Y'all ask me questions. I've been playing.
Does it suck?
No.
Do you get a hidden blade?
Yes.
Wait.
Did he chop
That
off his finger?
conflicts. That conflicts with Assassin's Creed timeline.
Yeah, with the lore of Assassin's Creed,
Yeah,
why would
they-
he have
the
a hidden
first-
blade?
No.
The first person to invent a hidden blade was which one was
I
it?
can't remember his
Was
name.
it the Egyptian assassin?
No.
No, because that person had had a cobra that they
Yeah.
used or something.
First
Yeah.
of all,
Knife.
okay.
God, aren't you a real Assassin's Creed fan, Nick?
Nick,
I guess.
How's the controls? Because both you and I
Let
struggle
me get
with
this
the
out
controls
of the way first.
at E3.
This game, okay. I feel like the controls and the combat are two two separate conversations. Because control-wise, like the way the character moves, the way the character interacts with the environment, the way the character climbs and everything, largely unchanged. Like it still feels at its core like an Assassin's Creed game. So
What is his name?
Bayek.
Bayek.
Is he
Yes.
cool?
His name is boring.
No, okay.
Boring.
So we're gonna kind of jump around a
He's
little
got
bit
a pet bird.
to answer your
He's
question
Block. His name
about
is Block.
question about the controls.
Controls.
Controls very much like an Assassin's Creed game. Feels very much like an Assassin's Creed game at its core. I'll talk about the combat in a second, which is the only place where I think the controls differ dramatically. I want to, since you asked what his name was, Bayek. I was fully expecting this character to be kind of boring as fuck, especially after what I had seen before and what I've heard from early impressions. I'm actually
definitely
enjoying
is.
this character. I think he's one of the best characters in the series since Ezio.
Shut up.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a great character so far. I'm really enjoying it. And like his setup, like his motivations are
Oh yeah, the map's huge.
That's ridiculous.
dude.
No, it
this,
is.
Dude, this map is
That is stupid.
fucking.
That's
Is
insane.
it?
because I played it at E3 and most of that was available,
Is
but
it
some of it
even,
was
like-
hidden. But that's actually one of the main reasons I didn't pick up this game because I knew how
It is
fucking massive it is.
I can already tell I can easily spend 100 hours in this game. This map is
That's some
fucking
dumb shit.
It's fucking huge, and they've, for all intents and purposes, they've like, I don't want to straight up call it an RPG, but they have basically made everything you could possibly do in this world gives you experience, which which goes into your character leveling up, which improves his health and his damage, and then also gives you points to put into a skill tree. You get an ability point every time you level up, and the skill tree is pretty fairly extensive, and all the abilities in that skill tree look like they're useful.
Is a
and
cursor
fun.
like that really necessary on a screen like this?
So here's the thing.
No. They did the Destiny.
They did the Destiny
system.
thing,
Yeah.
which kind of drives me fucking crazy. You select everything in the menu with the
You're
fucking
just jelly.
Cursor.
with the cursor,
Yeah.
which on a console is kind of
But,
annoying.
hold on. It has
I
a
mean, it's
purpose.
sleek.
Like in
It's sleek.
Destiny, it made sense. Like I could see how that made sense with the way you were moving around on like the menu. More than this, Crispy. There's fucking 4 blocks on the left.
didn't say
What
anything.
do you need a cursor for?
You don't.
I mean,
No, I agree.
there are certain things where I think it works pretty well. Like on the map, it helps because there's a lot of stuff on the map, and you can basically move around
Sure.
and pick things and add, what do you call it?
Waypoints.
Waypoints.
Hold on, Nick. That's always been in games, though.
I know.
A
I'm
cursor
just-
on the map.
Yeah, no. It's just like they took that out of the map, and now it's everywhere. It's on every menu
So-
in the game.
Talking about this large open world for a second,
Yes.
is it all available to you from the get-go? Is there some sort of
okay, so-
level gating?
Well, no. I mean, when you first start the game, there's a prologue, right, where they
Sure.
set up some of the story, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure you can't travel outside of Siwa, which is the main city you start in, or his hometown where you start in. But after that,
Then
I'm
you
pretty
can
sure
just
it's
go
open.
anywhere.
I have not found any invisible walls.
I have heard that.
If you're on a mission, if you're in a mission, it'll do that thing where it'll tell you you're going outside of the mission zone.
Right, sure.
But if
They
you're
have,
outside
like,
of a mission,
designated areas
I'm
for
pretty
missions.
sure you can travel
But
anywhere.
I had heard that they do kind of like the Witcher 3 thing, where there's no scaling of level throughout the world, and each zone has its own like level of enemies. So like you can't go here because everything's like 20 levels
So
higher than you. Or you can't go there because you'll just die.
I'm pretty sure that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that you can't go there, but you're taking a pretty big risk.
Right.
And honestly, the combat, which I'll talk about in a second, is very much it. First of all, the combat is the one area in this game where it feels totally different than any other Assassin's Creed game. You are no
For
longer
better or worse?
I think it's for the best. I mean, now the game is literally. I'll get some combat here in a minute, but like, I mean, you are literally using L1 to block with the shield, R1 to attack with the sword, and you are strafing around enemies, locking onto them, switching between. There's no more of the
parrying and all that?
I mean, you can parry, you can hit them with your shield right when they attack, which leaves them open to an attack.
Okay.
But there is no longer the wait for dudes to attack you, hit a button, and then dodge, and then execute them with like an
Would you
assassination
say
move.
they Dark Souls did up?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't want to.
That's
I'm
weird.
glad you did.
Oh, look,
It's the Dark Souls of Assassin's Creed.
That's first of all, that's not a nemesis system. That's just kind of the way they convey the story to you. That's all your
That's the
assassination
shit
targets.
list.
That's the shit list you're going through and assassinating. yeah, combat has definitely been dramatically overhauled. I think it's for the better. I think a lot of people are going to find it for the better because I feel like the combat in Assassin's Creed has always been kind of one that you either love it or you hate it. And it didn't, like, I kind of loved it after I got the hang of it in some of the later Assassin's Creed games, but I could definitely see why it bugged the shit out of some people. And this game definitely feels more like an action RPG now.
I mean,
because of it.
I mean, when Brotherhood came out, I think that was like the best iteration of the combat, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that was
pretty good.
They figured out how to do like the 1 and 2 combat right, but then they added in that ability to do like the kill streaks.
Yes, yes,
Once
and that was cool. And I think
Dude,
that's
in fucking
probably,
Brotherhood, you could pick up a massive claymore sword and just fucking throw it at a dude
That was so
and
cool.
impale him, and he goes, "That was fucking amazing."
I agree with you. I think Brotherhood is probably the pinnacle of that style of combat. But I also feel like the combat in Origins is absolutely one of those moments where like, well, you can never go back now.
Yeah.
I don't. By the way, in this footage right here, I was trying to pet the cat. I was told if you sit,
You can pet the
I was
cat?
told if you walk up to a cat and you don't do anything, he'll start petting the cat, and it just wasn't. I was like,
You
oh,
wanna
this
see
would be
him
great
pet
for the
the pussy.
footage. He'll pet the cat. I was like, God damn it, fuck you, cat, and then I just walked away after like 15 seconds of.
Well, I appreciate the smidgen of effort.
I mean,
there,
it basically behaved like a real cat. Like it.
So a couple more questions.
It gave zero fucks.
I would like to ask about the map further.
Okay.
Just two general questions. Number one, a map this fucking big.
You get
is
a camel.
It
You get a camel.
populated with a decent amount of stuff to do
Oh,
and
yeah.
find,
Oh yes.
and not like
Yes.
collectathon bullshit.
I mean, well, first of all, there's going to be a certain level of that in any Ubisoft game, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to beat around the bush here.
It's
This is
what
a
they
Ubisoft
do.
game. It's what they do. I've always liked this style of game. I'm very, I think Nolan said this before. Like he gets that kind of like what do you call it? Just the itch to
I
like
get
collect.
when I'm playing a game like this, I can't not do the collectibles.
Yeah.
It's infuriating, and I know I shouldn't be doing it because it's a waste of my time, and I'm not gonna. I'm not 13 anymore. I can't spend 200 hours playing this
Yeah.
game, but like I can't not do it.
Yeah, I mean, I will say what I've experienced so far. First of all, I think I've kind of spent half and half time exploring Alexandria, which is the big city, like the main big city in the world. Which would, funnily enough, when you pull the map back, it looks tiny, but when you go into the world, you're like, holy shit, this is huge. Okay. But I've spent about the same amount of time outside the main city gates, kind of out in nature and whatever, and a lot of the stuff that I've enjoyed the most has been happening out in the world.
Have you like summoned your eagle and just had him fly?
Yeah,
in a straight
right.
line.
I haven't seen how far he'll go.
I did that at the demo, and the guy was watching me, and he was like, "Really, this is what you're gonna do?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "I want to see how far I can go."
How far did he go?
It went like really.
Yeah, I
fucking
mean,
far.
I've traveled pretty. Like I've gotten to the point where I can see like the place that like a fort or whatever that I'm going to, and I'll be like a mile away, and I'll be like, let's just see, and I'll be able to fly, and because the eagle will fly over, and you can kind of like in Far Cry Primal, which might be the first place they introduced this, where you can kind of fly over the area and you can scope out enemies.
Does Ace Ventura pop out of its butt?
No, that was the rhino. This is
I
a
understand.
hippo, by the way.
There's no
That
rhino.
was a hippo.
No, it was a rhino in
rhino.
Ace Ventura.
Was that a bullet can?
No.
Yes, so that's an ability you unlock in the skill tree. You can first of all, as far as by the way, hippos are terrifying in this game.
Hippos are terrifying in real
Yeah, I
life.
know.
Oh yeah, I know they are.
Hippos and crocodiles are pretty terrifying. I lost my train of thought here. Where I was kind of going, I think that first of all they added a shit ton of like nature stuff, like a lot of animals, a lot of different kinds of environments to go to. They added the thing where like all the different animals kind of interact. Like there's like an ecosystem. Like you'll see like I was aiming at like I don't even know what it was. It was like some kind of heron or something. Like and I was gonna shoot it, and then fucking like a hawk flew out of the sky and just like killed it and then took off with it. I was like,
Nice.
oh,
Damn it.
okay. I've seen people being attacked by hippos. I've seen alligators being attacked by hippos. I've seen pretty much everything being attacked by hippos.
Ace Ventura. That was a rhino.
That was a rhino.
rhino.
That was a
rhino.
rhino.
Okay,
Definitely
right.
100%.
I thought you guys were saying it was like,
No,
I was only
Chris Davis was saying it's 100% a rhino.
Sorry, I was stuck on that.
I was just saying you were attacking a hippo. That's what
Yes, I was attacking the hippo.
Nobody even said Ace Ventura.
So is there a replacement
Oh
to
my
the classic
God,
gimmick
is that
of the towers in the game?
Sorry, say again.
Is there a replacement to the classic gimmick of the towers in the game? You have to climb
So-
them in order to see what's open, unlock things in the minimap and all that shit.
Everything is the map is pretty much unlocked. When you go up to, you do go up on the towers and do the synchronization thing, but really all it does is point out certain landmarks. But the map itself, there's no like fog of war. You can't like not see things. It's
Yeah,
just
I was
kind
gonna talk
of
about the sync.
it'll identify like treasures and stuff around the area, so it is beneficial to do them.
How's the climbing?
I mean, the climbing I think they mastered the climbing in as far as the controls. I can't say the animation wise, but I think they mastered the controls for the climbing in Unity, where you press X. Press X and anything he hits, he'll run
Go
up.
up
You
and
press circle.
Other way around,
Yeah.
I think. X
No,
to
no.
go-
So X is to run up. Circle is to run down. So if you run towards a ledge while pressing circle, he'll do the.
Wait, which
he'll-
controller are you talking about? PlayStation.
PlayStation.
Okay.
Yeah, when you run towards an edge, pressing circle, he'll start scaling
Descending,
down
yeah.
the mountain.
No, I agree with that. That was a big improvement to the. To
And
the
all
system.
the stuff, all the improvements they have made over the years are still pretty much in place here, and those things still work best. I think this honestly, I think this kind of feels like a greatest hits of the series, and then layers on the improved combat on top of that to make it better.
I was playing Shadow War recently, and the climbing in that game isn't that good. It gets very, very sticky.
Yeah,
And just made me start having flashbacks.
I mean, I will be honest. I mean,
Assassin's Creed.
first of all, I think it's you should. A lot of baggage comes with Assassin's Creed, obviously, with its fan base. But like, with a world this big and this much going on, I think it's unrealistic to expect there not to be some kind of bugs, not a few bugs you come across. So I have definitely had my fair share of moments where I'm like, oh, that animation kind of, janked out on me, and climbing this wall didn't necessarily work out the way I had intention. But I think it's, for the most part, it's few and far between. Everything feels pretty smooth as far for a game this large. To kind of go back what you were asking about being worthwhile.
Why are you
things.
collecting these fucking bodies, Nick?
This I know. I got distracted. I did the side quest, and he asked me to. These fucking
Save
hippos were.
people.
So it is a quest.
Yeah, these
Okay.
people got attacked by hippos, and everyone died, and like the family couldn't go collect the bodies because they kept getting attacked by the hippos. So he's like, "Go collect the bodies and bring them back to me." But everything you do, every single side quest, which there are tons, gives you experience. Everything goes into your you'll see there's a very obvious representation of how many experience points you have until you level up again. So you very much get that like itch to like, oh, I'm this close to leveling up, I'll just go do some menial side task and level up, get an ability point, because that skill tree is really fun. Like it's split up into melee, ranged attacks, and then there's a new one which is kind of like I forgot what they call it, but it's like poisoning stuff, like using tools to like attack people without so you can actually like infect dead bodies with like disease, and if anyone walks to inspect the dead body, it'll like infect them and they'll like get sick and die, that kind of stuff. But everything kind of has to be unlocked, and there's some pretty crazy, like right now I'm working up towards getting the ability that if you jump off of a ledge and then hold the aim your bow and arrow
Slow down
but
time.
it'll slow down time as you're falling, which seems like I could have used that many times. So
Couple questions for you, Nick.
okay, shoot.
Puzzles, are they a big deal in this game?
So I found, I think, two secret underground area, like temples or whatever you gone. I wouldn't necessarily call them puzzle solving as much as they're like platforming. It's kind of like an Assassin's Creed 2 when you go into the I haven't done a lot of puzzle solving per se. I'm not saying it's not there yet, but I feel like I've only scratched the surface of this game.
Okay. How's the music?
Music's pretty good. I've been digging the music. The music and the voice acting for the most part has been really good. Also, wait, ask a question, Crispy.
Yeah, is your hawk hovering?
No,
Slow down time.
You slow down time. It's one of those. It just lets you kind of pick out the people, the different people in the map, so it marks them.
Doesn't look
And that's
like
an ability.
It's slowing
That's
down
an
time
abil-
very much.
That's an ability.
Wait, it's a hawk,
Yes.
Yeah. Also, sorry.
but it's called equal.
The
vision.
hawk does keep moving when you do that. When you hold L2, he'll keep flying. So even though you have a kind of a static view of what's happening, there'll be oftentimes I'll let go of that button, and then the hawk will be like way off, and I'll be like, oh, and I kind of have to catch up and turn him around.
Oh, I got
It's just kind of to give you a better focus on the area, so you can mark dudes. When you mark dudes, you see their levels above their heads, which kind of goes to what you were asking earlier about certain areas being blocked off. Like, you can definitely go into an area and be like, I'm level 10, and then mark people like, oh, they're all level 15. This is probably going to be a bit of a challenge. Maybe I shouldn't do this right now. But there's nothing physically stopping you from going to those places. Any other questions?
Apparently it is an eagle, not a hawk.
Is it an eagle?
I mean, it is called
Is
eagle
it?
vision.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I guess you're right. It is an eagle.
Who cares?
I mean,
Precisely. I guess this is the first I did actual combat in this footage, but it definitely, as you can see, is dramatically different. I mentioned briefly during the opening of the show that there are
Holy shit.
Wait, what? What is it?
I mean, yeah, this is just. They
What?
just were looking at Souls games and were like, let's do that.
I mean, that's a fairly common reaction to like
I mean,
anything.
everyone does
post-Souls.
that now. Is like,
Yeah,
I guess. But
all the different weapon types, like all the weapons have levels, individual levels, and you can upgrade each of the. So if you find a weapon that you like, instead of like selling it off and to get a stronger weapon, you can just focus on paying to upgrade that particular weapon. Weapons have different abilities and skills and stuff too. Like sometimes. It'll have like a bow will have a higher rate of fire, so you can fire like shot after shot after shot after shot, or you can a certain like a predator bow. You could hold down the R2 button after you fire the shot, and the arrow will go flying, and it'll do like the what did you call it
the kill
Bullet cam?
the bullet
Bullet
cam
cam?
kind of thing, and you can kind of steer the arrow.
Really?
Another
Yeah.
question for you, Nick.
Uh
Is there any kind of like Montergione?
huh.
home base
Not
that
that
you
I've gotten
upgrade?
to yet.
I fucking love that shit.
I wouldn't be surprised if that happens.
Man, I could live in a
Can I
pyramid.
maybe? I don't know for 100% certainty that they're doing this, but I'm pretty sure they are. I don't know if I should spoil it, but they also took something that they used pretty heavily. That was a kind of a big selling point for Syndicate, and they brought it back, which I didn't know was in this game. But I don't know if I should spoil it.
Yeah, you can not. I
Yeah,
guess.
maybe I won't.
okay.
Let me just say there was something they did in Syndicate that people were like, "Oh, I like this," and like,
train.
I didn't think they were going to do it again, but they
on, right there.
brought
Two
it,
assassins.
they brought it back.
The
I'm not
steam
going to
tr-
confirm or
Steam
deny.
engine in
It's
ancient
either the
Egypt.
train or the two assassins, because that's the only thing Syndicate had going for it.
Oh, damn you! Damn.
Sorry. I don't think it's the train. Anyway.
Crispy, clearly
Clarification.
the eagle is the other assassin.
I also want to
It's got like a
say,
little hood, little
I don't want to spoil this either, but there is a modern day aspect to this game.
Would the modern day aspect satisfy me, do you think? Because
Because
you know what I demand of what I really want out of future stuff.
Don't you
I
usually
don't
side
think
with me
you
in this
know
kind of
what
stuff?
you really want out of future
I know
stuff.
exactly what I want out of
I don't
future
know.
stuff.
What? Outline it right now.
I eventually want there to be
Oh, a modern day.
future modern day Assassin's Creed game,
I don't know yet.
which there really should be at this point.
I've played
in my
about
opinion.
13 hours of this game, and I couldn't tell you one way or another if that's where they're going with this. But it's definitely it's not like the Black Flag thing again, where it's like, whoa, it's first person, you're in a game development studio, and they're not really developing the story.
Atrocious.
I mean, I like certain things about that, but that was not. It was not my favorite. It's definitely more significant than that, and I think
Okay.
it could. Also, surprisingly enough, this is going to piss Brad off because he's been. Remember he was trying to get us to watch the Assassin's Creed movie. Mm-hmm. There are direct references to events that happened in the movie, and now I am going to watch.
you.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to watch the movie.
Fuck
Michael
you.
Fassbender.
Yeah.
Does he show up in the game?
They kept referencing things. I was like, what the fuck are they talking about? And then I was like, oh my god, they're talking about the movie. I'm gonna watch this now.
Ugh.
Wait,
so-
these take place around the same time?
I mean, in the modern day stuff, they reference certain events.
Oh, in the mod.
Yeah.
In the mod.
They even reference certain things that were very different about the movie that were not in the game. And I kind of, that's neither here nor there. The point is,
Should we make this an event?
no, I'm just gonna watch it. Fuck it. I don't want you to make that an event. I'm not gonna make y'all watch it either. I'm just gonna watch the movie just so I can give myself the backstory.
I mean, I kind of want
It's
to
probably
watch
not
it.
it's probably fine. Come watch it with me. It's probably not a great movie. I just want to see what the fuck they're talking about.
I want to see the
Probably not a
first
great
and last
movie.
Ubisoft movie.
Maybe you're right. Anyway, that's really all I need to say about it. I'm gonna keep playing. This is kind of my main focus right now. So by next week, I will have played a lot more of it, so I can maybe report back and say more about it. But I'm really enjoying it. I think this is easily the best core. Black Flag is a great game, but I don't know if
Black
it's great.
Flag's not an Assassin's Creed.
It is not a
game.
great game because of
It's a great
necessarily the
pirate
Assassin's
game.
Creed stuff.
Yes.
I think this is easily the best Assassin's Creed game they've made since Brotherhood.
You
so
like it
far,
more
so
than
far,
Syndicate?
so far. I think Syndicate was a nice step forward, but I think this is better than Syndicate
Okay.
for sure. It's definitely hooked me more than that. And I will, let me just reiterate. I thought Bayek was going to be a lame ass character, but
Me too.
he's actually way more interesting than I
Cool.
gave him credit for. So, anyways, all right, let's talk about fucking Mario. Sorry, maybe I should rephrase that. Let's talk about Mario.
No, we're gonna.
Let's talk about Super Mario Odyssey. I don't want to talk about that other thing.
Wolfenstein?
To be
No,
clear, you
fucking
don't want
Mario.
to have sexual intercourse with Mario.
Correct. I want
Okay.
to talk about Super Mario Odyssey, which has been. I know y'all played a shit ton of it. I've been playing it.
I haven't.
I know. Sorry, Chris Davis has not been playing it. I've been playing it on the go. I played about 5 hours of it, but I know Nolan and Crispy are both like balls deep in it, right? I'm gonna stop using that. That analogy.
I don't
for
know how
this.
long the game is, so it's kind of hard to gauge. But I've
heard there's like 800.
I've already done like one. I'm a decent ways past the first Bowser fight. So you know,
Bowser's in this game.
Shut up.
I haven't seen him yet.
So you know that's.
Spoiler alert.
I mean,
Although Nolan seems to be farther than I am, he has costumes I've never seen before.
I have like 2 hats
I don't like this.
in this
I
game.
don't like it.
Just to give everybody.
This whole game is just about getting more costumes. And
Pretty
I
much.
love it. I fucking
Is this
love
scratching?
it.
Nolan, is this scratching your Team Fortress hat obsession?
No, not necessarily.
Okay,
mean,
I was just curious.
It's Mario. I don't know. It's Mario Odyssey.
Mario.
So yeah, I am balls deep in this game.
Yes.
I've played a shit ton of it. I don't know how long the game is, like Crispy was saying. I honestly don't know.
The word on the street is there's like 800 moons. I mean,
means
that doesn't
nothing to
necessarily
me.
mean anything in relation to like the length of the game.
800.
Something
yeah,
like
something.
880.
Something like that.
Do,
yeah.
do we want to talk about what I was talking about, like before the
Do you
show
want
and
to?
stuff?
Do you want to open?
Let's open with
the
this.
negative?
There's too many fucking moons in this game.
Okay.
Well, there's a lot of moons.
All right.
Everything you do.
Nick,
gives
you
moons.
fart and you get a moon.
Okay. Well, that's true. Okay. So, you
There-
don't- wait.
there-
Do you actually fart and get a moon?
No, but there
Probably.
are some moons that are about that easy.
Yeah.
You literally walk up to a random crate and break it open, you get a moon.
Or
This
like,
is the only fucking moon in the game I can't get.
Oh, look at you! You can't get it.
Are there
What a bitch.
Goombas on this stage?
Yes, there are.
Maybe you need to stack them.
I don't think I could stack them high enough. There's not enough.
Focus, guys. Focus.
So anyway, Super Mario Odyssey. It's really fucking good. I will say that. It is scratching the itch of Super Mario 64 that I've been having for years.
And you know what I think? Because I've been kind of, since we talked, you brought up the whole thing about there being a shit ton of moons, and I agree with you. And I think there's something to be. What I like about it is that it really, really, really encourages you to explore the shit out of these worlds.
It does.
Which is fantastic. Some of them are a little easy. Some of them are really satisfying. They're kind of all over the spectrum.
Yeah.
But I also like that, unlike Mario, part of me has always been like, I want a fucking another Mario 64. Like, I want that style of game. And then I didn't even realize what I wanted was there to be different ways to get stars in these worlds. But I feel like I didn't realize I wanted a game where I didn't have to leave the world every time I got a star and then
You
come
wanted
back
more
into it.
Banjo-Kazooie.
Like this
Correct.
is
No,
yeah,
you
I
wanted
guess you're right.
Banjo-Kazooie over Mario. But yes, I will say that is a big improvement. And that's one of my biggest complaints about Mario 64 is, every single time you get a star, you're kicked out of the world.
Yeah, and
But
that's
that
because
being
the world
said,
changes.
Yes, that is because every time you get a star, when you go back in for the next one, it changes the layout of the world. A
Yeah.
little.
So instead, in this game, it's like
I mean-
the world never changes, but there's
The worlds do change. So I don't know if you're not far enough into it, Nick. Every single world, when you beat the boss, almost completely changes the layout of
There's
the world.
something going on in the world that like you beating the boss fixes.
Yeah.
But also at the same
I've
time, like,
done a fair amount of exploring post boss. I just wasn't paying enough
well, I
attention.
mean, like,
don't know.
what worlds have you done?
I've done the only one that I think I've explored thoroughly beyond beating the boss is the forest world.
Okay, well, yeah, that one I think changes the least.
Okay, that
Like
was
some of
that
the
would
other ones
explain
have
it.
complete like makeovers, like
Yeah.
after. Yeah.
I think the difference between this and Mario 64 is largely a technical difference. Like I don't think it's necessarily changing the spirit of what's going on at all, because these worlds are much larger and more diverse anyway.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on anyway. It can
mechanically.
just now all exist simultaneously instead of it having to load in a new
No, yeah,
world
this
set,
this is definitely a technical limitation or a breaking out of that technical limitation that they had in Mario 64.
Not to mention just like the sheer number of like platforming mechanics that are in this game is fucking unbelievable.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
There's the different ways you can interact with the world, and using your hat, and using, just your jumping skills, and then fucking possessing like creatures that completely change how
that
you
stuff
interact with
is
the world.
So fun.
Yeah,
Dude, there are
Like the variety of different things you can do just by possessing different little creatures is the most rewarding part of this game for me so far.
I think one of my favorite ones so far has actually been the little tank dudes in the
tank
Oh,
dudes
yeah,
are great.
yeah.
There's one even better than that. You go to a seaside kingdom, and there's all these little octopuses.
Oh my
that
god, dude,
can
Nick, you don't even
possess,
fucking
and
know.
they're so fucking dope. They're basically like Mario from Sunshine.
Sunshine.
Yeah.
Except they can also use their fucking to like fly across the
So
water.
the way
quickly.
they
It's
move in the
fucking
world
cool.
is by essentially squirting out liquid.
Yeah. Ink.
And so that's how you use them so you can either propel yourself up or forward or combine
both.
them and fucking
Yeah.
just
And you just fly
you
around.
fly
You
around
just
the
have a
fucking world
jetpack.
until you run out of water. Then you have to land in
Right.
water to like
but then
refuel.
you have to use that to fight the boss of that
Yeah, it's
area,
pretty
and
cool.
it's so fucking
That's
cool.
one of the best bosses right there.
It's so cool. I love that boss.
But one thing I will say, like I said, I think there are way too many moons. I think there are several moons that are hidden behind like this. I consider this moon that I get here like a worth it moon. This moon, I had to complete a challenge to get it. I didn't have to fucking ground pound the shiny part of the ground to just get it. That's my big problem with this game is like I explored the Sand Kingdom very thoroughly, and then I pulled up the pause menu, and it's like, oh, you have 20 moons out of 70. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? 70 moons? That is so many.
Yeah, I think
What?
I got like 40 something in the Mexico world, or is that what they call it?
Sand
The
Kingdom.
Mexico
Jesus,
world?
Nick.
Sorry,
damn.
sorry.
Tostadera, I believe it's
Yeah.
called.
Really? Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Oh,
But
they just called it
anyway,
Sand Kingdom.
Fucking
Yeah.
Christ, Nick.
but
I got like 20, or like no, I got like 30 or 20
I don't
or 30
know.
or something, and then it
Are
was
you
like
saying that moons
I-
would be like
I
the
can-
worst drinking game ever?
probably.
I mean, yeah, probably, yeah.
I can understand your frustration with the number of moons in this game, but I don't know. I really think that's more of a. I think it's more of a shock than it is like this is too many.
I also
You know,
don't-
I think at first it's just like, oh my god, there's so much to collect in this game, but I don't know.
Well,
I
could've-
kind of
could've-
like how fucking
They could have made them a different collectible. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, but why? That's just cluttering up.
on one hand-
that's just cluttering the whole like collection economy of the game. Like, why does it have to be something different? Why is that more satisfying?
On one hand, I think that they're having so many is kind of inoffensive. It's just more content, and that's kind of great. On the other hand, I think it kind of lessens the wow factor. Like, oh yes, when you
I
finally
guess.
do get one that you have to
But
work
for me, it's
But it
more of a-
definitely
you can-
encourages exploration.
So it encourages exploration,
Yeah.
but you could literally go into a world, defeat the boss, and then just ground pound a couple of things and have enough moons to move on to the next game.
Yeah, I mean,
you don't have to solve puzzles.
I think the fact
but
that
I
they-
mean, you could beat Mario 64 with a third of the stars that are in the game. You
Yeah.
know, I don't think
Half.
this is really any difference.
half the stars.
Half, okay.
I mean, I think
But
part of the problem
but
is
you get what I'm saying.
Yes,
like,
I understand.
there's always gonna be that like gate of choice of whether like how much do you want to engage.
Like
with
I
the
understand,
game?
but like, that's what I'm saying is like, for example, the Sand Kingdom, you need what, like 10 moons?
Yeah.
12, but
To
then
move
there's like
on.
fucking 70.
yeah.
I think maybe it wouldn't have been it wouldn't have seemed so egregious if like they had said okay, to get to the next world you need like 50 out of 70.
So that's what I want.
and then you're like, oh, I need all the moons I can get. But now it's just like I can spend 20 minutes and get like a bunch of easy star or moons and then move on to the next one.
Because I can't remember who it was. Jaeger was telling me in Discord that somebody, I can't remember, one of our community members beat this game in like fucking like no time at all, like a few hours.
Dude, there's already
like,
people doing speedruns.
Well, I know,
think
but that's what I'm saying.
Probably
It's-
the reason.
It's just because there are so few moons you need to get to move on that you can just like fucking bam, 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 you're done. Whereas like Mario 64, like how many times playing Mario 64 did you fucking die and get kicked out of the
oh my
world?
god, do you
and-
think they did that because for speedrunners?
Not necessarily. I mean,
No.
I think they did it because they. So hold on. I'm not trying to talk bad about this game. I am enjoying the shit out of it, but it is 100 times easier than Mario 64. mainly because all the stars in Mario 64 were locked behind a challenge. You couldn't ever just find a star.
There was something really...
There was always something challenging about getting one.
There's also something really appealing, I think, about them telling you, like, giving you the name of, like, what that challenge is, and then you having to try and decipher and figure out what it is you need to do to get the star. And this game...
that's still very much in play.
No, but they tell you the name... yes...
If you just figure it out, they tell you the name of the challenge after you get the star, but there's, like, the whole hint system is based around the names of this. Like, there's 20 more moons in this level. I don't know where any of them are.
You have to
and
go to
they're
that...
telling you the name of one, you know.
Yeah, I mean, but you have to go to that weird menu
bird.
and then go to the
No,
list.
you can go to the bird, and the bird will tell you, hey,
Bird?
yeah, every
a
level
bird
has
in
a
every
bird,
level.
and if you talk to him,
Oh,
he will
yeah.
say, hey, this is a star you haven't
But
found.
like I've played this game for about 5 or 6 hours so far, and I haven't used that once. And it's not because I don't want to. It's because I haven't.
Well, Nick, it's because you're not at 50 stars out of 70, and like you literally, Nick, in the Sand
No, I mean,
Kingdom,
I
literally have no fucking idea where another moon could be.
I
I
feel-
have explored the shit out of that world.
I'll be honest. Oh wait, no. I think I met the bird in the Sand Kingdom.
Okay.
I have probably how many are total in the Sand Kingdom?
70, I think.
I think
Or
I have.
69,
I think I have
think.
50 something in the Sand Kingdom. Then
Nick, the number of moons in the Sand Kingdom is how many you need to beat Mario 64.
yeah, that's true. That is true. I never thought about it like that.
Yeah.
I want to ask this. Nolan, you have over 4,000 coins in this footage.
Yeah.
What is the fucking point of coins in this game?
So hold on. So there's a point. So first of all, when you die, you lose 10
Their
coins.
currency.
That's that. So yeah, their currency. When you die, you lose 10 coins.
You don't lose lives. In this
Yeah,
game.
there's no. The lives are a thing of the past. So technically, right now, I could die 440 times or something like that, and still be cool.
I mean, when you think about it, though, what purpose has the lives system?
Yeah, no, they're
even
dumb. I'm glad
served?
they got rid of it. I prefer this system.
Like, what was the last game you played? What was the last Mario game you played where you died and you got a game over, and then you had to start, like, you had to go back any significant amount?
Yeah,
to the
no,
point
it's
where
never
just
really
like,
been,
why did
yeah.
I even? What was the point of me even getting a game over if I'm just?
But so you use them to when you die, and then the other thing is, like Chris was saying, there is a currency. So there are shops where you can buy things. So some outfits cost money. Every world has a moon for sale. That you need only 100 coins. That's not too much. There are kind of challenges you can do, like kind of like mini games where you can pay 10 coins and you can play like a roulette style kind of game. So yeah, no, there are reasons for it. Yeah, I have 4,000. I am never gonna run out of coins at this point. I don't think there's $4,000. Like
I'm fine with that.
Or at least
dude.
there's a reason you have to discover.
because Crispy, at this point, I have nothing to spend them on.
You bought all the costumes
Yes.
and all the stars?
Out of every world I go to, the first thing I do when I find the shop is buy everything I can.
Okay.
And I'm still at like over 4,000. I think by the end of this footage, I'm almost at 5,000.
There's got to be... I mean, I don't know. I haven't been reading about anything beyond where I'm at right now. Mm-hmm. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'll be eating these words. But there's got to be something about the fact that there's 880-something moons in this game, and you only need a small fraction of that to actually beat the game. There's got to be something about, like, collecting more moons to unlock, like, secret kingdoms and shit like that.
I think that
First of all, do you go to the moon at all in this game?
So
Because I feel like they're telegraphing that
so
super hard.
I don't know. I have not gone there, but actually in this footage earlier, didn't you see me talk to Toad or whatever? No. Or at some point I talked to Toad. Oh no, it's whenever. At some point I do. I might be later in this footage, and he talks about like, I wanted to come here to get close to the moon because it's so beautiful. Yeah, no, they do reference the moon a lot.
I would be shocked if
That's
they
going to
don't.
be
I
like
wouldn't
your
be
fucking
surprised.
Star Kingdom or whatever.
I do think also there are. I've seen a lot of people bring up the whole like the game doesn't even really start until you've beaten it kind of thing. Which, by the way,
Really?
I personally hate that shit.
Somebody was just saying.
Post-content.
I hate
post-game
that whole idea of the game like
those
you
fucking
beat the game.
skills
The
right
game's
there.
just starting.
Oh, but you're still stuck. Oh,
No,
what are you going to do?
I'm a
Nolan?
fucking Mario magician.
my
This
God.
is clutch.
After the third try.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Hold on. It wasn't until the third try that I realized when those blue blocks come out, if they hit you, you can't move.
Oh, they stun you?
Yeah, that's why I kept falling, and it wasn't until the second time that I realized that's what was happening. Because there's two layers,
Yeah.
and when the top layer came out and hit me, all of a sudden I lost all control. I couldn't throw my hat or anything. So that's why I kept fucking up. But anyway, so yeah, as far as like post game content and stuff, I don't know yet. Like I said, that's my biggest problem is just that there's so many. That's fucking.
That is a.
Hold on, guys.
that's not
Take a step back and realize why that's a problem. Is that really? I mean, I'm not like this.
There are
game-
worse problems
Yeah,
to
exactly.
have.
I am loving the shit out of this game. Look how many coins I have. Look how many moons I have. I have played, and I wish I was playing it right now. Bernadette wanted to play it while we were streaming, and she had to come up here and take it from me because before we started, I was still playing it because this is what I was talking about. Like Toad's like, I wanted to come up here to get close to the moon.
It's definitely This is the most. Oh my, this game is a fucking delight.
It's delightful. Like I said, I do enjoy the costumes. I like mixing and matching them. As you can see here, I'm wearing like the swim trunks and then the captain's hat, the pirate captain hat. And there's like tons of different ones.
Oh my god,
so
the
good.
fucking music, dude! The
music is really good.
Okay, so
Nick, you don't even
admittedly-
know yet. You
I know.
haven't even gotten to
Admittedly,
some of
I've
the
only
best
done. I
music.
haven't done a whole shit ton of worlds, right? But
Oh yeah, and this
dude,
game also right here, obvious, no fall damage.
Oh, that's
You
nice.
cannot take fall damage in
That's
this
the
game.
first Mario game since
Like
the
3D,
2D,
like, yeah.
the 2D games.
I think a lot of the design decisions in this game were made in the interest of just making the game maximizing fun and minimizing frustration. The fucking music in the forest world,
Oh yeah,
Forest Kingdom,
it's good.
is
Forest Kingdom's good.
insanely good.
There's
And I know there's gonna be more.
There's one you go to later called Lost Kingdom that has a really chill soundtrack.
Dude, the
that
fucking I
liked.
cannot wait to get the soundtrack of this game. It's oh my god.
Oh, and then when they do Jump Up Superstar in game, it's
Yeah.
fucking dope.
So
It's so fucking cool.
That's another thing that Nick. I don't know how much you've seen it. I know you've probably seen some already because that's definitely in the what's the first kingdom? The
Cascade Kingdom?
Cascade.
Cascade.
The 2D stuff.
Yeah.
When you enter the pipes and the music goes 8-bit and it's that side.
Dude, I
it's
think
so
first of all
nice.
they're
I love when you get a moon in 2D and
Yeah.
it's like little 8-bit.
dude. So they have mixed. So obviously.
clearly a
we-
ripoff from A Link Between Worlds.
So we got our first taste of that. We played it at E3 and they kind of saw that. And I was like, that's clever. That's cool. I didn't think they were going to lean into it as heavily as they did, and it's so cool. Like they use it. It's like a greatest hits of Mario, where the best of 3D, the best of 2D. Like oh my, it's so fucking cool.
I was thinking a lot about this last night because I was playing during my cast, and somebody had also brought this up too. But the platforming in the 2D seems weird.
How do you mean?
The controls seem a little different. Like it almost feels a little too floaty or something.
I mean, that's old school Mario. Old school Mario is pretty
It doesn't
floaty.
feel like old school Mario though.
I think I haven't played old school Mario. In
I don't
a
know
long time,
exactly
so.
what's different about it, but it does not feel quite there.
Maybe not quite on point.
I don't know what it is. Like, there's too much of a.
It hasn't been enough to like distract me from it too much. I've been enjoying those sequences pretty.
It hasn't been a big problem, but it has been a thing. I don't know.
Pokop says old school Mario is heavy. This one is more responsive.
Well, it depends on which old school you're talking about. But yeah, so anyway, talking about like, exploring the worlds, whatever. I do like the fast travel system, being able to warp between flags, because when you later on that becomes like, oh, if that wasn't in there, I'd be so frustrated having to like making a big fall off of something on accident.
Oh
and
no,
just
I
being-
haven't seen this kingdom.
just being able to quickly. This is my first time going there too, actually. So yeah, you're gonna see a new kingdom here that I had just unlocked. But I mean, I don't really think I spoil too much. I mean, I show more.
I really want to know how many
creatures that you can
kingdoms there
possess.
are actually in the game.
I'm sure
like,
someone out there probably knows.
Just because, I mean, one thing I was worried about going into this was that I'd seen so much footage of this game prior to release, and
there's
I feel like
plenty
I
of
had seen
stuff,
so many kingdoms, and
I think it's fair to suggest there's at least 8.
That's fair.
Probably.
That's fair. I would with 800 moons, I would certainly hope there are more.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just thinking the traditional Mario count of 8 worlds.
8 would be the minimum I would be okay with. But then again, think about Mario 64. There was way more than 8 levels in Mario 64. So I think we are long past the, like, when you think about Mario Galaxy, there were 8 levels per world in Mario Galaxy. So
Luncheon Kingdom?
Everything's like food.
Shut up.
Yeah. The big bad is like a bird that's like taking like some meat or something from like a pot of stew.
dude, okay, so I also want to give a shout out to the bosses so far that I've fought.
Yeah, they've been really good.
I did,
I'm not the biggest fan of the
Brutals?
The Brutals.
I mean,
They're okay.
they're competent. Today
They're
I
like evil
today I
wedding
fought,
planners?
yeah. Today I fought my first boss that I legitimately was like, oh my god.
Which one was that?
The one in the Forest Kingdom, the one that's picking all the flowers.
Oh yeah. That one's pretty cool.
I was like, it was just, like not hard,
It wasn't too hard.
but just like
I
really creative.
No,
and,
I do
fun.
find that it often becomes a case where you have to. With those bosses, it's not always extremely obvious what their weakness is. You usually take like that one. It actually took me a minute to kind of figure out what was going on, which I appreciate, and I wish there was slightly more difficult. But like it's kind of like with like the Brutals, like they're fairly telegraphed and obvious. My problem with the Brutals is you beat all 4 of them, and then you just start fighting them again.
I have a feeling, maybe I'm crazy here, but maybe Mario plus Rabbids was part of a settlement between Nintendo and Ubisoft so that they didn't get sued by Ubisoft for the Brutals. Because the Brutals are really rabbidish.
Because they look like something out of Rabbids.
They're really rabbidish.
Yeah, they are.
I don't think that actually happened, but what if it did?
It's possible.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And also crossover like characters happen all the time. Again.
They have been the boss fights have been kind of easy, but there have been some really like
here's the thing,
creative
like-
ones. The first Bowser fight is
The first Bowser fight is really
delightful
good.
as
It is
hell.
really
Having just played through Super Mario Galaxy 2 on the feed and everything, like it reminded me like I don't necessarily find many of the bosses in Mario, especially the 3D Marios, to be difficult,
No, they're
but they are
usually not.
all fun. Like
Yeah,
I
they're-
always have fun fighting these bosses. Very rarely do I find myself frustrated or hitting a roadblock or whatever. And that might be disappointing to some people looking for more of a challenge, but I do think they have maximized fun.
Yeah.
And that is just that. I think that is more important than anything with this game, because this game is a fucking fun delight.
I mean,
to play.
who really wants like the Dark Souls of Mario, right?
Yeah.
There's someone out there. There's someone out there.
I guess there are.
But yeah, I mean, obviously.
What the fuck? You're a fireball?
Oh
Yep.
my god.
You can just be anything. It's so good.
But yeah, so I know there was more things I wanted to say, but now I'm forgetting them. The 3 hits and then you die can be frustrating, especially because I often find it's hard to gain back health sometimes. So for those that don't know, if you have an amiibo, like you can use those at any point in the world, and often they'll either give you coins or they'll give you hearts.
Yeah.
Which can be helpful. I don't have any Mario amiibos I've been using, so I don't know exactly what those give you. I've heard costumes and stuff.
Evidently, the new Princess Peach amiibo.
The wedding one.
Evidently, you can actually use it to kind of farm hearts and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I read
Is
that
anybody
today.
the least bit creeped out about like the
melting tomatoes?
no? I'm just. This is kind of an off topic. the overall motivation
That Bowser's kidnapped Peach because
that
he wants
Bowser
to
is
marry her.
forcing her to marry him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
No, that
But-
was like the logical, extent of where he was
I mean,
going
he's
with it.
he's trying to make an honest woman of her, you know?
I
Plus,
mean,
Bowser looks
it's
dap-
a little weird.
Bowser looks dapper as fuck this time around.
It's
Like
true, he
when you
does.
fight him and he takes his hat off, he's got like his hair like all nicely parted and everything.
I do think I will say it's charming, if not a little creepy. But
I
that's
mean, just why do you
It's-
think
it's
he's been
about as
kidnapping
creepy
her
as
for
it's
40
always
years?
been.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe I've just never thought.
Why
about
buy
how
the
creepy
milk
that
when you can
is.
get the cow for free?
Whoa.
Wait, is that the other way around? Why
I
buy
think-
the cow
no.
when you can get the milk for free?
No, why buy him? Why? No.
Yeah.
Why buy the cow when you get the milk for free?
Yeah,
Yes.
I was
What did you say?
the other way around.
Why buy the milk if you can get the cow for free?
Yeah.
The Dark Souls of marriage.
I do. Well, that's another thing. I do like that the purple coins are different in every world.
Yeah.
Isn't there like
Uh,
a set number
that-
of them too?
Yeah, every world has X amount.
That's
it
a
differs
real
on each
compelling
world.
collectible.
You know it is, and
Because it's like 50 per world.
or
But,
sometimes there's 100.
yeah.
But then you also need them. They only work in that world, and you have to get all of them to buy everything. And every world has the 2 stores: the coin store and the purple coin store. And the purple coin store has things that you can only buy in that world that you need the coins to get. Usually, either 1 or 2 sets of outfits, and then some collectibles for your Odyssey. So stickers that you put on the Odyssey, or like statues and shit that go on the inside of it. And I do like that.
I think in closing, the only thing I kind of want to say, this is something I realized playing Galaxy as well, is just what I think is so magical about this series, especially today, is that it wasn't until I played Galaxy, and now that I'm playing this, I'm just realizing there's literally no limit on how they design these worlds. Like it's just like any design idea, like any puzzle idea, anything that pops into a designer's head, they're like, it's going in, and like
Within reason.
Within reason, but like the variety. Like, I played Mario Galaxy. There's 256 stars, I think, in Mario Galaxy.
Yeah.
And, like, I was continuously shocked by the amount of variety in that game. And I'm playing this, and I'm like, oh my god. It's, like, nothing here feels like a rehash. Like, nothing here really feels like a repeat. Like they're running out of ideas. It's just like, it's like they came up with every idea they could possibly come up with, and, like, they did them all. And, like...
Yeah.
That's so fucking cool.
It's not some kind of like
take this world for instance. What's it called? The
Luncheon Kingdom.
The Luncheon Kingdom. Somebody at a meeting was like, "What if we made a world called about food and everything's just food?" And
They were probably speaking Japanese.
all right, fuck it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Well, I don't know Japanese, so I'm saying in English. But like, someone was like, "What if we just make
himself a gamer?
What if we make a world that's all food? Fuck it, let's do it."
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I fucking love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all.
I'm sure there's something else I'm forgetting.
And I'm sure we will talk about this.
Oh no, we definitely will. I mean, I
more.
think it's another great addition to what is a growing Switch lineup.
Oh my god, dude.
I've been waiting for this game. I actually ended up buying a Pro controller.
Yeah.
Mainly because the day I got it, I had forgotten to charge my Switch, and so I wanted to play it on the TV. But the problem with that is the Joy-Cons can't be charged when they're not attached to the Switch. And so my Joy-Cons died while I was playing it, and so I had to just stop playing, and I'm like, son of a bitch. And then I went and bought a Pro controller. So it should be here in the next couple of days.
One day, okay. It was on sale or something I saw the other day.
Yeah, I got it when it was on. It happened to be on sale, yeah.
What was it on sale? What do they sell that thing for normally?
$80.
$80.
God damn.
Yeah.
That's as much as another dock.
Yeah.
That's so stupid.
I mean, it is the best controller.
It's the best way to play.
But like, I'm enjoying the hell out of it.
Well, no,
just
that's what
playing
I'm
with the
saying. Like,
Joy-Cons.
that's one of the reasons I wanted my Wii U Pro
I don't
controller.
like. It doesn't make sense to me. Like a DualShock 4 seems like a more sophisticated controller.
What's the battery
and is
life on
cheaper.
a DualShock 4?
I mean, mine's pretty good.
Like, estimate.
I don't know, 6 hours, something like that.
Yeah, the Wii U Pro controller gets 80 hours of battery life.
So that's
And-
worth another $20.
Maybe.
well, I mean, in my experience with the Switch Pro controller, it's like 25, 30 hours.
All I know
I've heard
is that
it's
I've been
like,
taking
yeah.
this thing to work, and I fucking unplug my Joy-Cons, and I prop it up on my desk with the kickstand,
Yeah.
and I sit down in my
Oh.
chair, and I just fucking play Mario, and I love it.
Hold on. Playing it like that brings up another bitch about this game.
You
They
kinda-
have-
there's certain
they
things
have quite a few motion controls in it
Yeah.
that get kind of frustrating. Which
Which are impossible to do when they're plugged in, when they're
Yeah, you
connected to
can
hand.
kind of like fucking do
Nobody
this
wants
shit.
to shake their system. Never shake a baby.
I do it sometimes. But the thing is, it also not just that that's the case, but it's that it constantly reminds you about that.
Yeah.
Constantly there are like pop-up tutorials. Hey, shake to do this, blah blah blah. Like, and that kind of gets a little.
Nintendo
You need
just fucking
you need
give
to
it
stand
up.
on the left side and shoot across.
That probably would have been smart. Yeah.
That-
But there's
that
so
would
many
help.
of them.
There are, but that would take out like 4 of them.
Yeah,
at
I guess so.
least.
Do you think it would hit them all on the same icon though?
It would if you start on the left side because it switches left to right. So if you go when the left one
I
switches,
guess you're right, yeah.
it'll cascade across.
All right, now we're commenting on footage that
Sorry.
people can't hear.
Yeah,
But
that's
anyway, that's kind of one of them. It's not a big gripe. It's not like that was a GTA 4 or something like that that required you to use.
It didn't
the fucking,
bother me
like-
at first, but after like the 10th time of having to like take out my Joy-Cons to do a challenge or whatever using the motion controls, I was like, that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
This game makes me want to buy a Switch.
Oh yeah.
This is what
it's a
they
good
call
one.
a
Please
system
buy a
seller.
Switch.
This is
I
what
would
they
love
call
it
a
if you would buy
system seller.
Switch.
Look at this.
I
Look at this.
offered to-
I knocked down 4 boxes. Got a moon.
Yeah.
Hey, it happens, man. You know,
But you know what?
you gotta get out there and hustle. Did you get the 8-bit Mario up there? You saw it. You're going for it.
Right there.
There it is.
Yep.
So
Yep.
proud of you.
Anyways, We'll revisit this on a future episode.
Isn't
I'm
it
sure.
weird that the 8-bit characters that you find in the world are all the fucking
The cats?
Tanuki suit?
Yeah,
Or the cat
the
suits
cats
from Mario 3D Land or
Yeah.
3D World or whatever it was called?
Yeah,
That's weird.
it is
Man.
weird.
Super Mario Odyssey is dope as hell.
It's fantastic.
We have one more new game to talk about, but we're gonna do it after the break.
Yes.
Coming up on an hour. So we'll come back. We'll talk a little bit about Wolfenstein. Did you play that as well?
I did.
Okay,
I didn't
so
play as much as Chris Davis, but I've played a
Chris's
bit.
Have played a little Wolfenstein 2. We'll talk.
It's not good. No, I'm joking.
We'll talk about that after the break. Of course, we're going to talk about all the news from Paris Games Week. There's a bunch of cool stuff, and then of course we'll answer some questions from you guys, our supporters on Patreon. So if you're watching us live or listening at home, don't go anywhere. We'll be back after this short break. Welcome back to the show. We have one more big game to talk about. Although I will remind you guys, Jack will be joining us next week, so we'll talk more about this game on next week's episode. But the Chris's have both been playing Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus. Please, God, tell me your footage is not spoilery.
No, it is not. It's from the fourth level in the game.
Wonderful.
And I even cut out the cinematics, so it's
Thank you.
yeah.
So, how's Wolfenstein: The New Order, the third leg of this?
I will not lie. I beat it Sunday. Well, I essentially beat it Sunday. When I did my broadcast on Sunday, I ended the broadcast, which I thought was like a couple levels left in the game.
Yeah.
Turns out that was like the last 5 minutes of the game.
Oh,
So
it ended sooner than you were expecting.
Yeah, fairly much. Dude, honestly, this game, it's gonna be in my top 10 easily.
You're not supposed to spoil that. First
Yeah,
of
but
all.
you knew
Also,
that.
who
You knew that a
that?
couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
I'm
too.
pretty sure you knew that before you started the game.
I'm pretty sure you knew that as soon as the game was announced.
No, objectively speaking,
Can you objectively
this
speak about
game-
Wolfenstein?
I can't objectively speak about anything.
You should recuse yourself.
Look, this game
Jesus
is
Christ, this is-
so fucking good. It is fantastic.
It looks super polished. That's for damn sure.
Oh,
Or at
it
least-
is super.
Jesus,
think you made
are you
one
playing?
shitty.
In,
Going
are
so
you playing in
fast.
like fast forward mode or something?
No, I'm playing. Granted, I'm playing on PC, but no, that's your sprint speed.
But the animations look sped up.
Like,
No, it's not. It is absolutely not. Is
Is this just from like upgrading?
I mean, no. I mean, I'm
Are
playing.
you
on
a
PC.
freak of nature? Like what? Why are you plowing through this game?
I mean,
so
just
fast?
that's the speedy nature of the Wolfenstein.
Let me
game.
tell
It's
you-
not, it's not as speedy
That-
as Doom.
No.
Let me tell you, I know
that's-
why you
that's
finished
an
the game so fast.
That is an excellent point that I wanted to bring up and talk about. But we'll get to it. You go ahead and do your thing.
But the combat it's even better than it was in Wolfenstein, in that they've changed the dual wielding system around this time around to where you can dual wield any weapon in the game.
Okay. I mean, couldn't you do that in the first game or?
No, you can only dual wield the same weapon. This you can do with any weapon in the game. So you can have a shotgun in one hand, you can have your laser gun in the other, and it's just
I'm sorry. Did you say
you
laser gun?
You had the
Laser
laser.
gun.
You had the laser gun in the first game, but it was more like a tool.
Yeah.
They just took the tool aspect out of it and said, "Fuck it, we're gonna turn it." That's it right there.
No
we're
more-
just gonna turn it into just
No
a
more
fucking laser
puzzles, only killing.
gun. That's part of the game. Actually, there's not really that many in the way of puzzles, but
Yeah.
for what's there, it's just.
So,
Oh my god, this game's so good.
okay, so I'm trying
I'm
to figure out the best
trying
way
not to go into spoilers when I talk about it.
Yeah, so, and I'm trying to figure out the best way to ask this without sounding negative, because I'm not negative on this game. I mean, obviously, I can't be anything because I haven't played it yet, but the reason I picked this to play this game last after something like Assassin's Creed or Super Mario was that it didn't seem like it had changed much.
Gameplay
that-
formula wise, no, it really hasn't changed much.
It just
There's
seems like a much more. It just seems like a polished, beautiful looking version of.
It's a more polished, slightly more thought out version of Wolfenstein: The New Order and the Old Blood. The stealth operates the exact same way. You still got the commanders on the ground, in which you're taking them out to block out alert signals.
I actually
and
like
things
that. That was. It was almost kind of like having a So like just to kind of, since I'm playing Assassin's Creed, I'll compare it. In that game, there's always the possibility that if you're spotted, they're going to call for backup or whatnot. So in that game, you can take out their bells or their torches that they light to call in backup. This in Wolfenstein, it was kind of like you have one of those targets that you could eliminate, but they're walking around the map, which was cool. It was like a moving target, which was a nice change of pace.
Yeah, I would say that enemy variety hasn't changed that much. They introduced a few new types, but nothing that really changes
Different
your overall
types of
strategy of the
Nazis?
game.
Well,
They've added robots.
Okay, I have a question.
Robo-Nazis.
Does this game get, without specific spoilers, because Wolfenstein is always kind of like, not all of them, but like some of them most of them have had like a supernatural element to their story, right? The Nazis are always trying to dig up some ancient evil.
All the Wolfenstein games prior to the New Order
if you consider,
had a supernatural aspect.
Well, the Old
Robot
Blood had a
Nazis.
supernatural aspect.
Yeah,
to
the
it.
Old Blood did. Yeah.
So does this one?
No, it's following the more technology focused New Order.
Gotcha.
There are hints that there's some like supernatural things going on throughout the game, but it's really just technology focused.
Okay. Yeah, that was kind of their big focus when they first made.
but it's like supernatural technology.
I mean,
Like the suit he's wearing,
It's certainly
might
science
as well
fiction.
have been made by aliens.
well, no, it wasn't.
I know. I said it might as well have been.
Yeah,
It's this weird anachronistic 200-year-old technology.
The suit is 200 years old, roughly.
Yes.
But there's technology in this game that's thousands of years
But
old.
technologically,
Right.
The
That's what I'm
idea,
saying.
the idea for that, the people that don't know what's going on, is that there was a kind of a cult spin-off of Judeo-Christianity that's been around for thousands of years that was focused on the act of invention, not necessarily the use of invention, but the act of creating inventions as the closest way one could be come to being with God.
which seems kind of supernatural.
And the idea behind the whole storyline of the New Order and this game is that the Nazis have found vaults of this advanced ancient technology, and they've put it to their own uses, and that's how they've been able to
So
conquer
it's
the
science
world.
fiction.
Yeah,
which,
it's science fiction.
It is.
So I guess
With
maybe
a
the better
healthy
way of
dose
phrasing it
of
instead of
Jewish mysticism, like Deputy Dan
yeah.
Wilson.
So
Yeah.
they've kind of swapped out straight up supernatural elements for
I mean, guys,
science fiction elements.
It's pretty muddy. I feel like that's pretty muddy. Like he's wearing power armor from the 1700s.
Yeah.
Like, come on, that's a little
sounds dope to me.
that's a little
So-
supernatural.
Sign me up.
Like,
So, not to go too much into the story, but the idea behind the game is that this takes place 5 months after the events of the New Order.
I will have to reacquaint
BJ
myself with
killed
what
General
happened.
Deathshead, who was the head of the Nazi science division, almost halted all their science research.
The Nazis' science division.
And the resistance, including him, are constantly
Hydra.
being hunted by Frau Engel, who was one of the main baddies of the first game.
Yeah. So she kind of takes up the mantle as the villain in this one.
Yeah,
doesn't she?
she's the main villain of the game.
Yeah.
What about Frau Glucke?
We don't talk about
There,
her.
there wasn't lightning.
We don't talk
and
about
all
her.
that right there.
Sorry.
But it's okay. It's okay. It's a good joke.
I loved what I I loved the New Order, and I really enjoyed the Old Blood. I think the Old Blood felt kind of like a you could tell the budget was smaller on the Old
Yeah.
Blood.
And it was also a cheaper game. It was like
Yeah,
$30.
it was like it was a $40 game at release. But it you could tell there from a storytelling perspective and how they reuse a lot of the assets and whatnot. Obviously, this is not the case here, but like the one gripe I had about the Old Blood after I got past the fact that it was a step down from the New Order budget wise was that the game ended on like a really kind of a sour note. I almost broke a controller over the final boss.
Wow.
Well, yeah,
that
no,
game.
you
Mostly
were,
because
you were fighting the boss the hard way, the very, very hard way.
Really?
With guns?
Yeah. Well, no, he was doing a cycle of attacking it that was using up all of his ammo and all of his health.
Oh, I
when
think
he
I
found
do
the
remember y'all
environment.
talking about this.
What was I supposed to do?
You were supposed to shoot it in the mouth whenever it like growled.
Yeah, try doing that with like you've seen. Like, so one thing, this. So
But didn't
you're
I
right.
hear you could use like one clip of like AK ammo or something like that, and that would kill him?
Yeah,
Yeah.
That, but like Also,
But you were shooting in the head. You weren't shooting it when it was in the head and its mouth was open.
no, I was trying to. Okay, so
You were trying.
But here's the like you had mentioned it.
Good efforts, Skip.
Yeah, you had mentioned it before. Wolfenstein is a very fast-paced game, right?
Yes.
That can make aiming with precision very difficult.
For you.
Fuck off. Also,
Yeah.
I'm only gonna, I don't say this very often, but I was playing with a controller on a console.
You were.
You were playing with mouse and keyboard.
Yes.
Probably wasn't as big of an issue for you.
Precision is a thing with mouse and keyboard. I do want to say...
Damn, love that blood. Sorry.
The one thing that really surprises me about this game, and it's really started to come out in like interviews with the staff and various
Yeah.
PR stuff, is just how unrestrained this game is in terms of its setting, its storytelling, its violence, the whole nine
Set
yards.
pieces. I've heard there's some pretty cool
Like
set pieces.
The
Don't
opening
spoil
to the
anything.
game, I'm not going to spoil it, but the opening to the game is fucking shocking.
Wonderful. I love shocking.
Just not only for like
It's
the
pretty
tone of the
gratuitous.
characters, but it's very gratuitous. Oh my god! But even when you get past that, and you get starting to get into levels where you go into the bombed out ruins of Manhattan, where an atom bomb was dropped.
Spoilers.
I mean, they talked about that in all the marketing
It's not.
and in the first
Yeah,
game.
it's-
All right.
This is a known thing.
Okay.
You didn't hear about
I'm
that?
intrigued.
It was all over Twitter.
the lore of Wolfenstein doesn't, really need that much defense. Like,
Fair enough. I mean, although to be honest, one thing I really enjoyed about playing the new was the new
the New Blood.
the new order. I keep wanting to say the new blood, but
The
I'm
old
combining the names of the old
Yeah.
blood. God damn. Like the story was like obviously it's pretty simple. Like the lore is not super heavy, but like the presentation of the story is really good. Like I really
absolutely
appreciate
good.
it, which is actually why when I played the old blood, I was a little disappointed because of budgetary constraints, they kind of scaled back their presentation a little bit.
But half of this game takes place in the American South in the early 1960s. And as you saw in Mafia 3 and various other games, that was not a racially harmonious time in American history. And you think that a
I don't think
publisher
any
would
time
like...
with Nazis is.
Yeah,
I mean,
just ask
yeah,
2017. Fuck, I'm sorry.
The Nazism really didn't help.
No, it does not. In fact, it makes it significantly worse.
Super satisfying though.
Again, there are entire levels devoted to like the racial tension and everything that's going on in 1961 America, let
Yeah.
alone 1961 America occupied by
Nazis.
the Nazis.
Yeah.
But there's more things that they just go beyond that. I'm honestly surprised that they A, got away with it, and B, got publisher approval to do it. And I don't want to go into those for the
Definitely
sake of
taken-
spoilers, but there's some stuff in the later half of the game that will kind of shock you.
Yeah. Okay. I would be disappointed if I played this game and I wasn't at least a little bit shocked by the end of it. So I'm looking forward to playing it.
They've also fleshed out the characters a lot more. Your headquarters, which is now the U-boat that you stole in the New Order.
Yeah.
Ava's Hammer is what it's called. That's where your main base is now, and
Is it like an actual like hub?
Yeah.
it's a hub level.
It's,
yeah.
I mean, it's like what it was in the last.
But they
okay.
Last
flesh
one,
it
yeah.
out more, and in doing so, they've also fleshed out the characters more because you interact with them a lot more. You
Oh,
get little
that's right.
side
I remember
missions
there
and
was.
things like
I
that.
completely forgot about that whole aspect of the New Order, where you spend a lot of your time in like that hub location and kind of talking to people and right? Am I?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You're doing little side missions.
I
things like
completely
that for the
forgot about
characters,
that
things
whole
like that.
element of the game. And then it ended. Okay. Well.
I was gonna say
like
one
that
of the cooler things now is that the officers in the game, the ones that signal for help,
Yeah.
they now carry what's called Enigma code cards, and those don't come into play until after like the 4th level in the game.
Okay.
But the idea is that once you have an Enigma card and you collect a number of them, you can go into the Enigma station on Ava's Hammer and unlock the locations of like Nazi high command soldiers. And you can go and do these little separate side missions outside of the main game, outside
Like
of the
different areas
the main levels.
entirely?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I mean,
cool.
mostly you're replaying levels you played backwards. mostly,
Yeah.
or like segmented versions of those. But there's a few that are like completely separated from the main game.
That's cool. Oh,
And you you take them out, and that contributes to an almost XCOM like aspect to the game, in which the entire idea of
how
the new
XCOM?
Colossus is you are trying to convince the American people to rise up and cause an American revolution. The entire point of the game.
Is there like a meter or something that tells you how
There's a
successful
war
you
map,
are
and every single time you kill one of these high officer soldiers, the part of the map opens up and becomes more open to rebellion against the
that's
Nazi
kinda cool.
Empire.
Yeah, there was nothing like that in the first game.
Yeah,
That's
there was
kinda-
nothing like
I
that. It was a very linear experience. But they've added this, I wouldn't say really replay focused aspect of it, but definitely encourages, not sticking to the main core of the game.
Yeah.
There's other fucking cool things about this game.
We'll save some of it for next week because Jack's going to be here. Oh my god.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
no, it's
That was brutal.
oh yeah,
Axe
like
to the face.
oh yeah,
Sorry.
your main melee weapon in the game is a hatchet.
Yeah.
You can just chop off limbs and just fucking ruin people's day. It's excellent. On Ava's hammer, my favorite little aspect of the game that they've added, you can go into a side area where there's a cantina and a bar. It's like it's like a party area. And in there is a arcade machine
Oh, I heard about this. This is
with
Wolfenstein 3D.
called Wolfstone. And it's basically a reskinned version of Wolfenstein 3D, completely incorporated into the game.
You can play from
That's
start
the
to finish.
whole game, right?
Yeah, and it's you're playing as BJ, who's playing Wolfstone, which it's the exact opposite scenario. It's this Nazi who's hunting down the Chrysler Circle, your resistance crew, and like all the enemies are reskinned, and all like the Nazi symbolism is made to be like Chrysler Circle stuff. So any like picture of Hitler that was in there, it's a picture of BJ. All the guards like
that's
speak English.
clever.
Are like alert.
That's
And all
so.
that shit. It's
Yeah, no, that's fucking dope.
It's
Although,
so fleshed
I'm not
out.
gonna play it entirely. I'm not gonna fucking play Wolfenstein 3D in its entirety in this game. But that's cool that they put it in there.
I mean, it's
I think I
not
saw
even the
Joseph-
actual original levels. It's remixed versions
Yeah.
of each level. Not just art-wise, the actual structure of the levels. It's pretty interesting. Like, if you're a fan of, like, Spirit of Destiny and Wolfenstein 3 from back in the day, you're going to want to play this, because this feels like an unofficial sequel.
Okay, that's cool.
There's so much I can talk about this game, but I guess Jack is
Yeah,
here
Jack will be here next week, and we'll talk more about it.
I want
Maybe
a
Crispy
spoiler
will have
cast.
finished it.
I demand a spoiler cast for this game.
I don't know that I will have.
God damn it,
I'm
Chris.
renting it. I have to take it back.
And you've been playing Mario.
Yeah. But I would like to say I played a little bit of this. I got up through like 5 missions or something like that.
Yeah.
And so far, the things that are sticking out to me are that the game's fun. It's really fast.
Does it? Are you
Um,
playing on
but-
console?
I'm playing on PS4.
Does it feel as fast as it looks when?
Well, not as,
we
but
talked
somebody's
about
like
the field of view.
He's on PC.
He's playing
so he
PC, so
adjusted his
most
FOV.
likely he's at what, 90?
No, I'm at 105.
Why do you fucking go so high?
Yeah.
Since his field of view is so high.
No, it bottoms out at 90.
Really?
Yeah, it starts at 90.
Since the field of view is so high, everything looks like it's coming at the screen a little bit faster.
I
Yeah.
do kind of feel like even
I feel like
on
I'm on a
console
roller
though,
coaster
like
watching this
things are really moving quickly, and
Yeah.
it's kind of it's not very forgiving in its aiming, which for console is a little rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing about I'm thinking about Doom when I'm playing this game because
Doom like 2016. Doom?
yeah 2016 Doom, because I'm thinking about how that game played and how this game is similar and how it's different to that. It seems to me that they want you to play this game very much like you played Doom. You know, which Doom was all about running and clearing out rooms as quickly as possible. And the level design supported that, the health system supported that, and I feel like in this game, it doesn't as strongly support that style of play.
No, it doesn't.
The rooms, like the levels are built kind of like more modern shooters where there's a lot of different sectioned off areas, there's a lot of obstacles, there's a lot of things to hide behind, and it kind of makes you feel between the layout of the room and the fact that like you only have 50 health but you can hold up to 200 armor, kind of makes you feel like you need to be a little more careful,
Yeah.
you know, like, or at least that's the sense I was getting while I was playing.
that's
So,
from the early
so I
game?
was doing a lot of like hiding. I was doing a lot of like hanging, like trying not to engage too many enemies at one time. I was relying heavily on stealth, but the problem is the game kind of only pays lip service to those ideas. Like, stealth in this game is not really an option that I've seen.
Wait, did you
Like-
play? Did you play the New Order? Out of curiosity, I can't remember.
I did. I didn't finish it, but I played a lot more of it than
Yeah,
I
'cause
played.
I
this.
ended up playing most of that game, or not most of it, but like I would start at almost every single level.
But
with
I
the
would say the
intention of
same
being
thing about the
stealthy.
first game too. Like, stealth was an option in that game, but the game doesn't encourage it. It doesn't reward it. It doesn't really support it at all. This idea, to me, if the game was really committed to giving you like a decent stealth option, they would give you mechanics to kind of support that. They wouldn't do things like, as soon as you're spotted, everybody knows exactly where you
I
are.
hate
There's
that
no way to
happens.
break. There's
Yeah.
no way to break and run. Like, you just have to stand and fight. It's basically like, how many Nazis can you kill before it goes back to good old Wolfenstein? You know,
they fleshed out aspects of that, and that becomes more prevalent later on in the game, because the game operates on the same New Order's perk system, where you unlock abilities as you kill Nazis and do different things. And one of the abilities, as you kill officers, is you can not only delay the call-in of reinforcements, but also it gets to the point to where you can actually evade them enough to where they lose track of you. They don't know where you are, and they'll actively search the area for you.
That's
so,
kind of a weird.
stealth is still an aspect of the game. And again, they won't go back into a high alert
It's.
mode.
I mean,
until
I'm
you
not
get fully
saying it's
spotted.
not part of the game. I'm not saying it's not an aspect. But what I'm saying is, it is objectively not better to be stealthy than it is to just soup up your guns to do maximum damage. Make sure you have a bunch of ammo on you at all times. Like most situations seem to be solved
shooting
with a
dudes.
maximum application of force. Better than anything else. You can stealth through the game, but I feel like the game is telling me, like, if you're gonna stealth, you're playing on hard mode.
It
You know?
also feels.
Like-
It also feels
Like especially when it comes to weapon upgrades, because you find these kind of sparse weapon upgrades throughout the environment that you can use on your weapons, and some of the upgrades will be like expanded clip capacity, bullet over penetration, shit like that, and some of them will be like silencers. So when I'm sitting here thinking, like, I want to play stealthy, like, that's what I'm comfortable with, that's what I feel like, and I'm essentially wasting my upgrades to put silencers on my guns. You know, the game is kind of kicking me in
Yeah.
the teeth for it.
It-
And I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. I mean, it's Wolfenstein. You're definitely kind of going for a certain idiom when you're playing this game, and it's closer to Doom than it is to, like, you know, Deus Ex or something. You know?
I mean, I do agree. It's closer to Doom than those, but where I disagree is the fact that half of Doom's entire combat loop was based around those glory kills.
It was.
Yeah, and so in this, you really have that option.
No, you don't. But
you go in for the melee kill, which is almost always an instant kill with most enemies, but you don't get like health or ammo or things
I'm
like
not
that.
saying that the game is necessarily rewarding you for doing run and gun. I'm saying it's definitely punishing you for doing stealth. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of that's another issue I have, is that I feel like stealth isn't as much of an option as I'd like it to be. And then when I go for the run and gun, I've got 50 health. And the ammo, once you have concentrated fire on you, or the armor, I'm sorry. Once you have concentrated fire on you, that armor melts away.
Oh, yeah,
It
no.
melts away.
Armor does
so
not last
so there's
long to
not
taking
even
damage.
like in Doom, I felt empowered to go out and kill because you'd get those glory kills, because that was tied into not just killing the enemies and finishing the space, but also in just fucking staying alive, because that was the best way to get more ammo, was the best way to get more health, was the best way to get more shields, was to be aggressive. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the health aspect, that's actually story related. I don't want to go into that because there's a reason why he's at 50 health.
Okay, but
then it gets adjusted later in the game.
But you can't excuse the gameplay mechanics based for story reasons, because those story reasons aren't these like real world constraints that were put on the team. That's something that they made up as a contrivance for the game. Okay, I mean that's not an excuse.
I'm just saying there's at a point in the game to where that actual aspect changes the way you approach combat and stealth.
You're probably right, and I haven't played nearly as much as you have, so I'm just kind of giving you my impressions on the early game.
I've always gotten the impression when playing these Wolfenstein games is that the stealth exists almost predominantly as just a means of an option to kind of make you feel like a badass. But it did noticeably make the game
I'm not saying
harder.
Yeah, I'm not saying that the game is bad. I'm not saying that I haven't been enjoying my time with it, because I most certainly have. I'm just saying I feel way more haphazard in this game than I did in Doom, and I feel like they're both trying to do the same thing. Okay. So I feel like Doom is maybe still kind of pulling it off a little better.
Okay, well,
either
way, you're not very far in the game. There are counter arguments that can be said.
Well, how long is the game? How is...
I beat the game in 14 hours.
Okay, how many missions is that?
Story missions, that's about 10 or 12.
So I'm like almost halfway through the game.
Where you're at, no. You're about...
I'm on mission 5.
You're about a third of the way through, I guess, then. Because there are several levels you haven't gone to, and there are several places that you have no idea.
Let's revisit it next week.
But this isn't... Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, this isn't like... I got out of the tutorial.
I encourage you, if you can beat it this weekend or next, I think your attitude will change.
I'm interested to hear what Jack has to say about it too.
Me too.
Let's revisit it next week. Maybe Crispy will have a chance to play a bit more for next week, but we do have a lot.
Can I quickly, just really quickly?
You son of a bitch!
I finished South Park. Last week on the feed, on the podcast, I talked about how I knew I was close to the end.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how close I was. When I booted it up on Saturday, I watched a cutscene, I fought a battle, I watched a cutscene, credits rolled.
Oh, Jesus.
I was like, holy shit. Like, I wish someone in chat would have really forced how close I was when I was streaming, because I would have just finished it then and there.
Yeah.
Overall, love the game. Ending was a little flat, I guess.
Yeah.
It just kind of ended. But overall, fucking great game.
Fantastic.
I'd also like to add that I started Destiny 2, and
that is a
Destiny 2 is a video game.
That is a whole other can of worms. Yeah. We don't have time for it.
I don't want to go into it right now.
I'll talk about...
I had to create a fucking Battle.net account.
I'll talk about the other game I've been playing. God damn it.
No!
I don't know where
What's in the news?
I don't know.
I'll talk about my other game that I'm playing next week.
Have you finished the story?
No, he hasn't. What's in the news?
Then you haven't started playing.
Oh.
All right. I wasn't expecting there to be so much news this week.
Yeah.
Especially when I was like, we have a whole podcast to talk about these 3 big games. But then Paris Games Week happened. And fucking Sony decided to announce a bunch of shit.
Go fucking crazy.
They went fucking nuts. So before we get to the big things, I want to just kind of do a quick overview of some of the other smaller announcements they made. And I'm going to... I think I have an overlay just for... Yeah, there we go. Kind of a roundup. So they did kind of an hour-long pre-show before they did their media briefing.
That great.
They just kind of announced a bunch of...
It was okay.
They announced a bunch of indie stuff for the most part.
Hated that lady.
Oh my god.
I didn't watch the pre-show.
You're good.
Well, I heard it was bad.
You're good.
It was
cringy for the wrong
I was
reasons.
there for the trailers, and we
Same
didn't get
here.
a fair amount of trailers. And
But Nick, she's a Final Fantasy fan.
Oh
and
my
she
god,
just loves Final Fantasy.
God damn it, Nolan!
Fucking good
Oh
for
my
her.
god! Oh my god!
How bad could it
We're all Final
It was
Fantasy
pretty
fans.
It was bad.
It was pretty bad, but she really loved Final Fantasy.
That's all she wanted to fucking talk about.
We just-
the Final Fantasy VR fishing game.
I
Oh
know.
my god!
I hate it when girls talk about video games.
Heard it here first.
You go watch that. You go watch
It was
that.
just kind of cringy.
I will.
They were all pretty cringy.
No, yeah, none of them were great. No, I brought sorry, real quick. I brought up in chat because I was in chat during it that like fucking Nintendo Treehouse has women on all the time, and they're not cringy or bad. Like I fucking enjoy the women that Nintendo Treehouse has on.
They've got a lot of talent.
Well, that one girl has a lot of
God
talent.
damn it, guys! You guys are.
But what they have to say about video games is actually
Which girl
relevant.
is this?
Let's move on.
Oh no! What happened?
Her
I
name
just
is-
moved to a different sheet.
What's her
Okay.
name? I forget.
I have no fucking.
Can I talk about Paris Games Week?
Please
yet?
do.
Yes,
Fine.
please.
Jesus Christ!
God, take
Use your
control
words.
of your podcast. Jesus
Yeah, host.
Christ.
They announced a bunch of smaller projects,
Yep.
and they gave a bunch of updates on existing projects.
Yep.
During the pre-show, some of the things they announced: the Hong Kong Massacre.
Yep.
Looks kind of interesting. It was kind of like a John Woo inspired take on Hotline Miami. I don't know how that's going to pan out necessarily, but certainly looks pretty cool. Someone here had asked about the Gardens Between. I don't even know how to describe this. This is like the
Yeah, I don't know
India's.
either.
This is like one of those games like that's indie as fuck.
Yeah.
I can't even describe it. You should go watch it. It looks kind of cool. They showed a bunch of VR things. Something called Megalith. I think that was one where you're like some kind of god or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
something like
A lot of the VR stuff they showed didn't look very promising. It looked
yeah.
kind of like
Megalith was the final level of Ace Combat 4.
not the same thing. But I
clearly
like your
not.
attempt to connect. No, they did talk about Spelunky too. Was that when they did
That's
they
a thing.
So
Yeah.
they,
Yes.
during
Did they
the-
announce it, or was that
pre-show? It was an announcement.
Yeah.
They didn't show any gameplay. It was all like a cinematic trailer, I guess. Of I guess the character from Spelunky. Does he have a
Spelunky,
name?
the next generation.
Yeah, he has like a daughter. Or
Oh, I
something.
saw the picture
Yeah.
passing around on Twitter. I didn't know that meant there was a new game coming.
Yes, so there is a Spelunky too. Brief announcement.
my God.
As
I-
soon as it comes out, we're never going to see Nolan again.
I just got to the Jungle World in Spelunky 1.
That's coming to Switch, right? That's almost
It
guaranteed.
has to.
Almost
Dude,
guaranteed.
I would fucking play the shit out of that on the Switch.
Hell yeah.
That's a great Switch game.
Hell yeah.
If I've ever seen one.
They showed a few other VR things that didn't look very promising. The one game that actually looked pretty fun to me in VR that surprised me was called Sprint Vector.
Oh yeah.
It's like a roller. It's like a
It's
high octane rollerblading,
like a first-person
race.
sprinting
It's like-
racing game.
It's like Motorstorm, but if you were on rollerblades.
Yeah, it does look actually kind of cool.
It looks
kinda
pretty
cool.
fucking crazy.
Okay.
Maybe not artistically. It didn't look like Motorstorm,
Yeah,
but like
it was
just
very
the speed and the
like
and
vector
the,
graphics and
like
stuff. It looked like it would be a fun game to play.
Visceral
yeah,
action.
visceral action. Exactly. They finally gave the update I was waiting for on Moss.
Oh, yep.
A little disappointed. It's not
I'm
coming
glad.
Out.
Next
I'm
year.
glad. Part of me is glad because I didn't think I was going to have room for it, and I really
2018.
Is it Fuckuary 2018?
No.
February 2018.
Oh
yeah.
yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, February 2018, the month where everything else comes. February 2018 is the new October 2017.
It's Fuckuary.
They also showed. Let's see, what else did they have? I mean, they announced this like, weird artsy looking game called Ure.
Yeah, I've heard it's not that great.
It looked like
it
Journey meets Shadow of the
It was
Colossus.
Journey of the Colossus.
Huh?
What's the name?
Ure.
Ure.
Oure. And it was one of those like we're going to announce it and it's out now.
And it's out now.
I haven't seen anybody talk about it. Or
I've
heard
seen a
anything about
couple of people say it's not the best.
It doesn't surprise me considering
Yeah.
it's just a hey, we're going to announce it and it's out kind of thing. But
But yes, Crispy, it very much looked like Journey meets Shadow of the Colossus.
Like that?
Yes.
yeah,
A beautiful chore.
it looked cool. But
That's the name of this article.
oh well, that bodes well.
Yeah.
Shadow of the Colossus is one of the things they showed.
Shadow
Okay,
of the Colossus.
this
Yeah.
is pre-show, Chris
Yeah.
Davis.
They showed that.
pre-show.
They showed that during the show, not
I
pre-show.
didn't know it was not a
And they
good
showed that Final Fantasy 15 fishing game. All right, moving on.
Whoa.
Why did you just brush over that? Let's talk about it.
that was like the worst montage video.
Are they going to
too,
have different bait
of all the
and
VR
lures?
games?
Yeah, it was pretty
hate
bad.
all
Like
of
they
you.
showed up like 12 different games and they build in this epic music and then it just ends on the fucking fishing game.
That
Yeah,
was
they
that
did.
was their big finisher.
They blew their
the
load
big
on the
finale
fishing game
was
at the end.
Final Fantasy 15.
It was rather
fishing.
jarring.
Yeah.
All
Can
right,
you unlock new tackle boxes,
So-
or are those going to be microtransactions?
I hate you. Let's move into the actual Paris Games Week
Yay.
media briefing. Pretty impressive showing, I think. Well, first of all, this first one was part of the pre-show, but I wanted to make a separate overlay for it because I'm super excited
Pretty
for
big
it.
game. I'm excited for it.
Guacamelee from Drinkbox Studios
Guacamelee.
is getting a sequel. Guacamelee 2. Never
it
thought that
be-
was going to happen.
Guacamelee Dos.
But it fucking is. Guacamelee 2 is happening. It's coming to PlayStation 4, obviously.
How could you not expect them to make another
Should
one
it-
though?
Should it
I
not
don't know.
be?
I just didn't think that was the kind of thing that really got a
I mean, they put out like 18 different versions of that game with expanded content.
Well, that also might be why they wouldn't do a second one, just because they're milking the shit out of it.
Oh no, they can continue to milk
But-
the shit out of it.
Why is
Don't get me wrong. I'm fucking excited. It
too.
looks very, very cool.
You gonna play it on your Vita?
I traded in my Vita.
I don't even think it's coming.
But
to
I
Vita.
did play the first one on my Vita.
Yeah, I know, I
A lot of
remember.
It was great. I'm actually hoping this comes to the Switch, but it's funny.
Oh,
they were showing it at a
yeah,
Sony
maybe.
press conference.
They probably will though. Just Guacamelee been on so much. I mean, I wouldn't be
Dude,
surprised.
some
if
of the stuff they showed in this trailer looked really cool. Like, they introduced this. I forgot what they called it, but it's like waves of energy that are like colored like red and blue or whatever, and they like move across the screen in different directions, and you can only hurt enemies when you're in like the red sections, whatever.
Makes me
So,
think of,
so if you like
out-
try, I think it was like if you. So
was
if you
that
like
game?
try to attack dudes while you're in like the blue energy, like your attacks like go right through them or something.
I mean,
I
that's how similar in Guacamelee. You had the different.
but these are actually like it's hard to describe without seeing it, but like there's actually like colored waves moving
Correct.
through the screen, and I'm wondering if that's like, I hope that's not the entire game. I hope there's
I
like,
doubt it
I
is.
think that's probably just like a single level, whatever. Like right there, you can see like the energy moving through the world, and it's just one of the many ways it looks like they're gonna be mixing up the platforming and stuff. But dude, this game looks fun as fuck.
Looks delightful.
It also has 4-player co-op,
Nice.
Damn.
which
that's
is
a
exciting.
4-player?
4-player co-op. That might be a fun game to do in the
That's
stream as a
insane.
group.
That's insane. Whoa.
So I
Or
don't know.
assholes with chickens just
chickens.
running around.
Oh yeah, they talked about the chickens for like ever. But that's great. I
If
like
a
the chickens.
game has chickens, people love the chickens.
It's coming soon-ish. That's what they said. So who the heck knows when this is coming out? Probably February. Fuck.
Of
I'm just
course it
kidding.
is.
I'm just kidding. It's soon-ish. Probably sounds like it might not even be next year. Who knows? But I'm super glad that it's happening. All right, moving right along to the big stuff from the show. I think I want to. Let's talk about the trailers for the stuff we had already seen. I think there's 2 or 3 high-profile trailers that they showed for stuff that's already been announced. But so we had a trailer for the Amazing Spider-Man, or I keep wanting to call it the Amazing Spider-Man. It's
Why
not.
would
It's
you
just
do
called
that, Nick?
Spider-Man.
It's just Spooderman.
And part of me wonders if that's even like the final name. I feel
Probably not.
Like,
No,
feel
I
like
think
they're
it's Spider-Man PS4.
Yeah.
I hope that's not the
It's
case.
gonna be Spider-Man Prom Night.
Oh God. We just showed Crispy the trailer for this before during the break. What did you think about the trailer, Crispy?
I mean, it still looks pretty good.
It was a very cinematic trailer. There was very little gameplay.
But there are tidbits in there that are very interesting.
No, there's
I'm not-
definitely good-looking gameplay.
I'm
they
not
showed.
crazy about the design for Peter Parker, but
I had the
that's
same
fine.
thought.
He's
got
not,
very thick
I'm not
eyebrows.
I'm not
It's
crazy
just
about
like,
the design of any of
Look
the
at
people.
that.
we
Just
saw.
normal white guy wearing a plaid shirt and everything. Jesus
but
Christ.
I don't think I like any of the people in this. Like the
Yeah.
character model design in this.
I think Mary Jane looks pretty good.
no.
And I think actually,
Nick, you think any redhead?
no,
looks
and
good.
I was also
Yeah.
going to say Aunt May. I'm assuming that's Aunt May.
It's got the hots for Aunt May.
No, Aunt May's character model is really detailed. I think even more detailed than Peter Parker is. It's very strange.
I prefer Marissa Tomei.
But I think Mary Jane as a character
She
design
looks
is
like a
fine.
redhead.
I think. God damn, you guys are focusing too much on the
No,
wrong shit.
I'm not. Look, it's fun. They don't need to be crazy good, you know? I mean, as long as Spider-Man's on point, as long as the enemy's on point, which Mr. Negative looks fucking dope.
Mr. Negative looks great. We got our first look at
Like,
at the Shocker in
it'll be
action in
fine.
this trailer.
Yeah, the
which-
Shocker looks like
Wait, where?
way too done up.
Oh, you didn't see the Shocker? How he like fucking
He looks way
kicks
too
him back
cool.
through the. He kicks.
It's coming up.
Spider-Man
Maybe I didn't
to-
realize it was actually the Shocker.
Oh, well,
How could you miss
You
it?
can't miss it. Watch it. It comes up in just a second.
yeah, just
I
make
think
a
the
whole lot of
bigger.
There you go.
The big thing here is for a split second you get to see there's a playable sequence where you're playing as Mary Jane.
It
A
looks
stealth
like,
sequence.
It certainly looks that way.
It certainly looks that way. So I don't know. All right, here comes the Shocker in just a second.
Which seems weird.
Yeah, they've
There he is.
they've
Okay.
implied pretty heavily that Mary Jane in this knows that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. It seems like maybe she's playing some kind of support role in like
No,
a
I mean
stealth
she
mission.
definitely knows. Like that conversation they're having in the beginning is.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
I don't
Talking
know.
about their mutual friend.
She's like, why are you talking about yourself in the third person?
They showed more Miles. I'm still kind of flabbergasted as to what role he's going to play. Is there a sequence or is there a timeline where they exist in the same?
Yeah, the normal one.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
After his
timeline.
universe was destroyed. Yeah, the Ultimate Universe was destroyed, and Miles is like the only survivor of that universe, and he's in the 616 universe.
Oh.
I'm not sure what's going on with him now. I think he's still there. But then they did the whole, like, the fucking Spider-Verse thing where there was just, like, an infinite number of universes focused around Spider-Man. I really don't know what's up with that. But
the interesting thing here is that
but
they keep showing Miles Morales, and, like, that they wouldn't be showing him this much if there wasn't going to be some kind of payoff, which means I think they're heavily hinting that, one, he's either going to show up as Spider-Man at some point, or you'll be playing as him as Spider-Man at some point.
Seeding that sequel already.
Or maybe they're planting the seed for a sequel.
No, he's DLC.
Don't say things like that.
Spider-Man.
The point is, Spider-Man is probably one of my most anticipated games of next year at this point. I think this game looks
Not Red Dead?
Okay, you got me there. Close second. How's that? Second.
I think at the moment I'm a little more excited for Spider-Man than Red Dead, just because we've seen a little more.
I'll tell you what's really sad here.
It's gonna be sad going back.
There was an interview several weeks back with some Insomniac dev.
Yeah.
And they were asked about a sequel to Sunset Overdrive.
Oh, I saw that. And they said they want to.
And they said they want to. We just need to find a publisher that's willing to pay for it.
Yeah, I mean that's not super surprising.
Hell.
I didn't think
Fuck
that
you, Microsoft.
I didn't think that game would ever going to get a sequel. But the fact that they want to make it sounds cool. I don't know.
So
anyways,
good.
we need to move on to the next trailer I want to talk about, which is The Last of Us 2. Maybe a little more to dissect there. I don't know. That
trailer.
Dude, I didn't know what the fuck I was watching. For all I knew is that he was showing a trailer for something we already knew about. There was a lot of people were like, "Is this Last of Us? Is this Death Stranding?
That was the original
What the
thought.
fuck is going on?"
Yeah, then people started going towards Death Stranding.
People were like, "Is this From Software's
The
new
facial
thing?"
animations weren't exactly right for Death Stranding, and so yeah, it was. I don't know.
Super. Okay, so
Didn't feel like The Last of Us at all.
No, it did not.
I mean, you didn't even know it was The Last of Us until the last 2 seconds of the trailer.
If even 2 seconds.
When you
literally
see
the last half second.
Yeah, you see
You see the clicker and that's it.
you see the cordyceps come, or the clickers come running out of the shadows, which was cool. Like I think that was a great way
You mean
to.
the demons?
I think that was a great way to make that reveal. I mean, I think it was cool in that they showed this trailer and it kept you guessing till the very end. I think it would have been nice if he walked off stage without even telling anybody what so people couldn't figure out if this was a new IP or what. But we got our first look at several new characters.
The fucking sounds of that bucket were ridiculous. This bucket in this video that she picks up and stands her up on, it sounds like a real fucking bucket. Whoever did the Foley work on this game is incredible.
The visual and sound fidelity of this game is actually kind of scary.
There's
so much detail.
You hear the swinging metal and the plastic ring on the bucket. It's like ridiculous how good it sounds.
Yeah, you hear the bones
bale.
break.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, when she clips her wings.
Okay,
Oh,
so
Jesus Christ.
Okay, first of all,
That
there's
is causing reaction right now.
Yeah, and I think rightfully so. I think it might have. I think this might have been a little much for a trailer.
Yeah, it
for a
was
game.
pretty intense.
It's they're showing stuff here that in this trailer that is straight up. This is the reason these games get rated mature.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, they didn't show her gutting her like the people behind them.
Dude, that's pretty
Other
great,
hanging
though.
bodies did have their intestines hanging out.
When what's her face gets the claw
The hammer in the
her
face?
head, like the animations of like her dying,
Like her
and everything
eyes, like,
are
kind of fade.
super
It's
detailed.
intense.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
You know,
really good.
One thing I think. So yeah, there's a lot of references going around to the whole clipping her wings thing, where he tells her to clip, and then she fucking breaks this girl's arm with a claw hammer, which was brutal as fuck. But I think it was cool. So a few weeks or months ago, Naughty Dog did they released a new poster, I guess, for Last of Us 2, right? And they it was just oh god, this is even hard to watch without sound. It was a poster with just an arm holding a hammer in front of a burning car, right?
Yeah.
And so that's obviously kind of
My
what
friend
this
Kevin
is.
Tong did that poster.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you told me about that. So that's obviously in reference to this scene, which we didn't realize. Everyone was kind of assuming that was Joel holding the hammer, and this was all kind of getting to the fact that this is actually leading to the main character. Do we catch the girl's name, the main character in this trailer?
No, they haven't said who she is.
Yeah, they haven't said who she. Oh, yeah, this is the one that that voice actress is playing, and they're like, she's playing, and they're being very coy.
there are people that are assuming that this is Joel's ex.
Yeah,
That is
I think that's
That's quite a
I don't
stretch.
believe it.
That's insane.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
that's a bit of a stretch. But
Joel's
they are.
daughter would be like in her 40s by now. Like the
you're-
first game jumps 30 years.
Yeah.
Not
But
just
I mean,
20 years.
unless this is like unless this is in
I'm
some
pretty
case
sure
a
it was
prequel.
30.
No, The Last of Us 1
20
takes
years
place in
later.
like 2034.
Yeah.
It straight up says 20
In
years
the,
later.
in the first game,
Is it 20?
like
I remember
Pretty
it
sure
said
it's
30. Okay, so she'd be almost.
I mean, all of that is irrelevant when you think
Yes.
about this.
30-something.
Everything that we're seeing here could be a prequel or something that happened in the past, right after the
Could be.
outbreak or whatever. So we don't know anything. The thing is, they're being very coy about who this actress is playing. They won't tell you, which implies that we already know who this character. We're familiar enough with this character that they want to be coy about who it is,
or they just want to be fucking coy.
or they just want to be fucking.
Could be
coy.
just a fucking new character.
Who knows?
Who cares? Who
It was an
cares?
effective trailer. It got me excited. I really am very curious now about how this connects to The Last of Us, which I'm sure was the goal of the trailer. So, yeah, I'm super excited. I was honestly expecting them to hold off on this trailer until the PlayStation experience, but
Well, maybe PlayStation Experience, they'll show a trailer with Joel and Ellie.
or maybe they'll show something from Death Stranding.
Well, the thing is, they said that Paris Games Week was supposed to be like their E3 Part 2.
Yeah.
Like they held over things.
So they're gonna call the PlayStation
And
experience.
PlayStation
E3 Part
Experience is
3.
always
Because
bigger
that
than
they've-
E3.
But
Yeah.
they've also suggested that the PlayStation Experience is here because of Paris Games Week. Your expectations should be downplayed.
Yeah, probably so. Anyways, those are kind of the two big existing trailers. They showed some more Shadow of the Colossus, and they gave a release date for that. It's in February.
It looks pretty, though.
but oh my god, that looks cool.
it's
There's actually been
gorgeous.
some hands-on
That
impressions going
forest.
around for that. People have been getting their hands on it.
Did that forest exist in the first game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the very
Just-
beginning, I think.
Yeah, it just
Okay.
looks way more detailed now.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's been hands-on impressions. in
No,
that game.
sorry, there's when you leave the tower, if you hang a right, you can go through a forest to get to, I think, the second or third.
I think it's the third where you're going.
No, the third is not that through the forest. I think it's the second or the fourth. I can't remember which one.
But it looks dope, and the impressions are that the game runs and looks beautifully. But I've heard a lot of people
would
saying
hope
that
so.
they haven't fixed the controls,
Oh.
camera controls and shit like that. So who knows? But I'll play the Shadow of the Colossus again with the same exact gameplay experience if it looks that fucking pretty. I don't care.
I'll play it for the first time.
It's a great fucking game.
Fuck. Okay. All right. I want to wrap up the this with the biggest surprise, which is actually what they opened with.
Yeah.
Biggest surprise of the entire show, the Ghost of Tsushima, which concluded. Which, first of all, for the first 2 or 3 minutes of this trailer, I fucking thought I was getting
Nobody
a new
knew
Onimusha.
what it was.
Nobody knew what this was, but people were like, "Oh my god, is Tenchu back? Oh my god, is this Onimusha? What the fuck's happening?" And then we find out brand new IP,
Yep.
Ghost of Tsushima, and then the big surprise dropped. It's fucking Sucker Punch.
Sucker Punch.
Nobody thought Sucker Punch was going to come back with swinging with a brand new IP.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people were kind of expecting another Infamous. That's kind of what they're known for. It's what Sony's been kind of making them do forever.
I mean, the PS4 launched with Infamous. It's been 4 years now.
Yeah, so it's safe to say I think Infamous is on a break right now.
Yeah.
And what we're getting instead is an open world. They've confirmed open world samurai
/ ninja game.
I mean, I think the emphasis is on samurai.
Samurai,
but
yeah.
samurai.
But I just
game-
want to say, for those who haven't seen this, if you're either listening to us or watching on
Go watch the trailer.
Go watch it because
a beautiful
It is
trailer.
fucking intense. Like just the voiceover. This antagonist.
Yeah. Talking to
talking to the protagonist.
It's the Mongols. It's the Mongol
Oh, it is?
invasion.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, sure. So he's a Mongol, and there's him just. He's captured him, and he's essentially telling him to surrender, and just like, oh, it's fucking intense.
I like how he's
holy
telling
shit.
him about
The scene- that one right there, the village burning,
Yeah.
is so graphically detailed.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
beautiful.
My favorite shot in the whole trailer is actually the when he comes into that clearing and you see the big pagoda. I think the whole trailer. I just the thought of playing an open world game set in this time period in
As
this,
a
in this
samurai?
environment, like it's so.
This is my favorite shot right here, where
I
he's
think this
transforms
this
and
trailer
just melts
honestly.
away into this.
I think this trailer is one of the most beautiful trailers as far as like the way it's cut, the way it's voiced, the
a
way
really
it's
good trailer.
framed. I think this whole trailer is beautiful. I think the logo for the game is fucking.
It's no
on point.
Skyrim announcement trailer. But yeah.
I don't remember that, but I should
Few
probably.
Are
things
you kidding me, Nick? We'll
Dragon Ball.
We'll watch it after this.
All right.
It's one of my fucking favorite trailers of all
I think
time.
you'll feel bad for forgetting it.
Yeah, probably so. But I mean, I was blown away with this trailer.
No, it's a great fucking trailer.
It is so good. I am so excited to see more of it. This probably isn't 20. This is probably 2019 or later.
Probably.
Quite easily.
But still,
How long have they been
they've
working on
well,
it?
Actually, now that you think about it,
Infamous
Second Son
came
came
out a while ago.
like 3 years ago.
yeah.
Well, no, it was a PS4 launch game.
Yeah. So how?
So it was about 4 years ago. They were talking about like maybe
this game could be coming soon. Like,
and also
thi-
they had that expansion for Infamous Second Son.
yeah.
With what's her name? With
Yeah,
the
Second Light or
neon
Second Light? No,
powers.
is it? What was it?
First Light,
Paper
second,
Trail?
second Light,
First Light.
First Light. Second Son, First Light. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
So
there not one called Paper Trail?
No.
no, you made that up.
Yep.
That's a power, I think.
Point is,
It could be sooner than we
this
think.
is fucking cool.
Yeah.
I'm very excited.
Nobody
I
really knows how the game fucking plays.
You know what?
no
I
one
could
knows
see
anything.
this. I could see this like this trailer was.
That was me. I'm sorry.
This trailer, they didn't show any gameplay and they didn't say an announcement window or anything like that. But I could
Whatever.
easily see this becoming like a Game Informer, like they probably do like a spread into Game Informer or something,
they'll
and
do
then
it.
coming October 2018. Like,
Yeah. No, I would not. No, I'm fairly
I
confident
would-
this is going to come out next year.
anything could happen at this point.
I don't know.
What the fuck else has Sucker Punch been working on for years?
Oh,
Probably this
nothing.
and probably like a project that
Oh
got
shit!
canceled.
Oh my god, Crispy's right. Paper Trail is the name of first set of DLC for Infamous.
Oh, so
Second
it's
Son.
DLC. Okay.
Well, what is First
We
Light?
stand. It's
First
Well,
Light.
it's
like an
last,
expansion
sorry,
or
it's
the second-
Last Light. That
Last
was the big expansion with the female you play as.
Was
yeah,
also
the
DLC.
neon powered girl.
Wait, Last Light?
Yeah, Last Light.
Because there was Metro Last Light.
You guys
But-
don't know what
Please
the
let's
fuck
just
you're
let's
talking
move
about.
on. Let's stop.
Anyway,
talking
this
about-
game looks fucking great.
Oh
It
my
does.
god! All right, that's all we have. I had a couple other news things, but they're smaller by comparison, and we need to move
Yeah.
on. So let's jump on over and answer some
To
questions.
community
from
supporters
supporters from Patreon.
All right, no new patrons this week, but that's
Boo.
okay.
Why?
We still love you all. You're the best. So let's get to some questions from our patrons. First question this week comes from Landon. I haven't the most. What? I guess I haven't listened to the most recent podcast, so I apologize. There's an answer to this question. Have you guys done a spoiler cast for Nier Automata yet?
No.
To answer the question, no, because barely any of us have. I mean, y'all two have
I
finished
finished it.
I
Crispy?
finished it.
Yeah,
Did you finish it, Nick?
Yeah,
It's a
All
December
of
game.
I got
for
all
me.
5 endings, like all 5 of the
You
the
didn't
story
get all
endings.
26 endings?
No, I didn't. I got all 5 of the story endings.
I have
haven't
not
even
started
begun to
it.
play.
I have it. It's sitting right over there on my
I'll be
shelf.
honest, and I think this might come up in one of the Patreon questions. Somebody in here in one of the Patreon questions said referenced something about like the ending, like ending C or something to Nier Automata being like the most powerful ending to a game he's ever seen or something. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like I don't. I was like, I'm trying to remember what even happened.
Ending C is.
I could be wrong. It might not be C.
All right, moving on.
It'll come up.
Prince of the Universe asks, for those who have beaten Mario Odyssey,
None of us.
None of us.
but he goes on, can you think of any other games whose post-game content was better than its main campaign, or even a game you've more fun playing after have beaten it?
Destiny 2.
Fair enough.
Okay.
I'll be honest. I don't
Nier
usually
Automata?
when I see credits roll.
After you
I
beat the first-
usually
Yeah, no,
just
that's a good point. Like the Nier games.
Nier Automata,
I mean,
after you beat the first game, you haven't even begun to play the
yeah.
game.
I guess I mean that's kind of a weird example.
I mean, but at that point, that's almost just like narrative framing. They just framed
Yeah.
that game's narrative content really bizarrely.
for the most part, when I see credits roll for a game, I
dead to me.
I immediately in my brain associate with it being done, and I move on to the next thing. Unless it's a very strange outlying case, maybe like Nier, which is
There's another one stuff I'm not talking about. Other than The Division, actually had some good post game content.
that game had.
Metro
Pre-game
Last Light actually had some really good post game content.
Wouldn't that just be DLC?
I mean, it was DLC, but it was also like
Post game
extra
content is
stuff
usually
you-
referring to something that's like open world. Well, I guess Division's
Or
open
it's
world.
like content that you can only access after you finish the game, right?
Yes, I suppose. I'm not gonna have a very good answer for this just because
I'll come up with an answer.
I check it
tomorrow.
off my list and I move on to the next one when I see credits roll. Most of the time. No.
Oh, Undertale. You beat that game and you go back and play it again to get, the real endings. I swear to God, that is a serious answer. I don't know why you're smirking at me.
I'm not smirking. I was just looking. Next question from Sir Thomas Thipple. Maybe a bit hard to explain. Apologies for being long-winded. What's the most visceral experience you've ever had with a game or movie? I guess if I had to define visceral, it'd be emotional response that transcends into a physical feeling, like a feeling of sadness or joy that is so powerful it makes your body feel drained or elated or on a physical level and sticks with you for hours or days after the initial experience. A couple of examples for me. Ending D and Nier, not Automata. Movies, the end of Evangelion, or shows like Techno Lies. Yeah.
End of Evangelion is kind of traumatic. That whole fucking movie is traumatic.
I think the end of The Last of Us.
Damn it! I was gonna say that.
You know what scene I'm talking about?
Yes.
I was
where the fucking where the fucking I don't know what instrument it is with the guitar or whatever
It's called a guitar.
Is it guitar? That was what he was playing.
Yeah.
Like starts coming in where they're having that conversation. Yeah, dude, that's fucking intense.
I'm also kind of referring to the
DLC.
No, the there were some great moments there. I don't want to spoil. I don't know what's considered spoiler after The Last of Us, but
once I'm being cautious. Are you talking about in the operating room?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
dude, I took out a flamethrower and I just set them on fire.
Dude, my fucking
so good.
My fucking heart was beating.
Yeah.
Die.
And I've never at that exact I don't feel like a game has ever made me feel for a character the way that game made me fucking care about Ellie and Joel.
Honestly, Final Fantasy X.
Yeah, that's another good one. I was
some of that story shit. Remember when Final Fantasy had good stories? Not like Final Fantasy 15. Sorry.
Enslaved?
Yeah, Enslaved. No, the ending of that was weird. I don't know.
It was weird, but you came to really appreciate it, in my opinion.
Also, I don't know if this is necessarily the ending that made me feel this way, but the whole fucking experience of playing Alien Isolation was one of the most visceral fucking...
I guess we don't need to talk about endings. We just in general, other stuff. I was trying to think. I'm just because he's asking about movies, TV, whatever. That's my brain's having to go through such a large medium of stuff.
I've got one.
But I thought Full Metal Alchemist. Mm-hmm. There's an episode with a doctor and his daughter. And that shit's pretty intense. I can't really get into it.
Oh, Nina?
Yeah, Nina.
Oh, God.
Yeah. If anyone's seen it.
I know what you're talking
heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Because it's the only thing anyone ever fucking talks about when they talk about that show.
No. Hold on.
No.
Hold on.
I've never heard of this.
Okay.
Muse?
But that's the one thing I've heard come up more than anything else.
Well,
I've never watched a fucking episode of that show, and I can tell you exactly all about Nina and her dad and what a piece of shit he is.
Well,
But
what was your
answer was a book, actually.
Okay.
A book called House of Leaves. Maybe you've heard of it.
Yes.
I don't know that I would feel the same way about that book nowadays. But when I was reading that when I was in college, that was one of those things where when I wasn't reading it, I was thinking about it. And when I was reading it, I was paranoid as fuck. To the point where I was carrying around with me and I'd go to night classes at school and I'd be on break in hallways that are completely deserted, reading the book, and it's just you feel reading that book makes any place you are feel unsafe. It's so weird.
Man, I want to read that.
Fucking,
that's on my list. I really
great.
want to read that.
It was fucking.
So, Gamerbeck in chat mentioned the beginning of John Wick, which maybe not. I wouldn't call it necessarily super visceral, but man, that I watched that last weekend. I actually took that to my parents' house and I watched it with my parents, and I didn't tell them anything about that movie.
I'd also add Metal Gear Solid 4.
Are you talking about the microwave hallway?
No.
Okay.
No. The ending to that game, but also the menu when you first start the
game. Yeah, I know what he's talking about.
That's pretty great.
But no, because Chris, you were talking about Full Metal Alchemist. Did you watch Full Metal Alchemist?
I haven't seen a fucking minute.
Well, sorry.
That's why I'm saying.
So
I feel like that part is overexposed because as somebody who has zero exposure to it.
There's a character in that named Maze Hughes, and his storyline is fucking heartbreaking.
Okay, I believe you, but I my point was that
The thing is, that one's
that
very
thing
easy
is the one that everyone talks
because
about.
it's easy to reference.
Man.
And also, it happens early on in
It's
the series.
also it's within like the first like 10 episodes, maybe a little more.
It's like 8 or something.
I don't know what's going on. I've never seen it.
Yeah.
Do you want us to
Sorry.
spoil it for you?
No. Maybe I kind of makes me want to watch it.
That's kind of
Dude,
funny.
if you've never seen Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, to be specific, you really should watch it. It's very good.
I haven't finished it.
It's kind of funny, actually.
Well,
Next
they
question.
had Netflix up to like episode 48, and then they stopped.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. Just because there's too many things to list, probably. Judd asks, now that Fucktober is over, is it?
No, it's not.
What major releases are you looking forward to before 2017 concludes? This has been a strong year for single-player games, despite what developers or publishers are saying. I'm looking forward to finishing all the fucking games that came out this year. I haven't even started
Yeah,
yet.
I feel good. I feel pretty good saying that there's nothing else really that's not out yet that I am like super in anticipation of.
I want to play Battlefront.
I hope Battlefront's good, and if it is, I might pick it up. But there is nothing that I know from the get-go that I'm absolutely going to play. My remaining 2 months of this year is going to be catch-up.
Yeah.
I haven't played Tacoma. I haven't played Nier.
Near's
Hollow
one.
Knight is on my list.
Oh, dude, fucking Crispy, you need to
It just
finish
came
that.
out with DLC a couple days ago.
You need to finish that.
Yeah.
It's so fucking.
Did you give up and buy it on the PC?
No, somebody gifted it to me,
Oh,
and I have it installed. So I
I'm
know
almost-
it's not coming this year.
I'm excited for Battlefront 2, but I'm almost more excited for the Monster Hunter beta
Oh, yeah.
in December. And actually,
Is that February as well?
yes.
that's when that comes out, yeah.
God damn.
This is kind of unrelated, but it's more related to what he said about, like, despite what publisher says, this has been a good year for single-player games. And this is something that I hear brought up a lot. Publishers aren't saying that single-player games aren't good. They're saying they're not making money off of it.
They're not making
When
When,
not
money.
making
when
enough
you're
money.
talking about this being a good year for single-player games, you're saying this was a good year for fun, engaging, like, artistically competent, satisfying single-player games. When publishers are talking about not making single player games or moving away from them or what, it has nothing to do with the artistic quality of those games. It's
Yeah.
all about how much money they're making off of them. I just,
All right,
So
moving on.
in that
Just wanna
regard,
clear
it
that.
may not have been the best year for single player games.
Moving on. Zero Skies. What's your favorite type of environment in games? Foresty, tropical, poisonous, zero gravity, snowy, volcanoes. What do you find fun or challenging about the type of environment you like?
Oh, that's tough. I do get a warm feeling in my chest when I think about foresty areas in games.
Depends on how the forest is, yeah.
I tend like in Super Mario Odyssey, I got a choice between going to the forest area or going to the water area or whatever, and I was like, you know what, a forest sounds nice. It was pretty good. I'm satisfied with my choice.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I was gonna say every like 4 to 5 years when there's like a large graphical leap with a game and they show off a jungle level, that always gets me fucking excited.
Jungle is something that often gets shown off when when it comes to enhanced graphical abilities, just because it's so easy to show vines and leaves and fucking dew on them and stuff. It's a very easy environment to show off the
Your
enhancements.
volumetric god rays.
Think of when we first think of when like Metal Gear Solid 3. Think of the jungles in that game when that first came. It's so fucking dense with like creatures and enemies. Like think of how like. That's one of the first games I remember playing where enemies in camo would often fucking surprise me because I literally didn't see them.
Yeah.
I tend to get most excited about urban environments.
A really good
Like
urban
cities and
environment
stuff,
could be good.
especially if it embraces like the verticality. Like Mario's a great example of it. Like because New Donk City is like the most vertical level I've encountered so far. New Donk City.
Yeah.
But it'll never not happen. But
Oh, pace.
but I think jungle environments and foresty environments are really
Snow
cool.
is actually something I like, depending on how it's done.
Snow
Yeah,
is
but, like,
interesting
a
from a
cool
technical perspective,
city.
just seeing how your character interacts with the snow and
Well,
how
there's
gameplay
actually a
does that.
level in Mario where like you have to go. There's like big drifts of snow
It's
that
like
you
a
have to
blizzard.
fucking you have to like go through them and stuff. It's pretty.
He's like-
Honestly, I think snow falls at the other end of the spectrum for me. I think a lot of cases they're beautiful areas, but
From a visual perspective, it's
from a
not
gameplay perspective, I
exciting.
almost always hate the effects that snow has on gameplay.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Final question this week from Arxidus. What are some modern day conveniences that you can't go back to living without?
Backup cameras. I have a backup
No.
cam in my car. I can't not drive a car without one
When
now.
I got my car, it was a 2012,
Yeah.
and it had a backup camera in it.
Yeah.
I was like, "This is the stupidest game in the world." And then, like 2 days later,
Now you can't
I was
live
like,
without
I
it.
can't.
It's
No,
like
there's no.
if
living
you
without
live in a
this.
city, especially a backup cam for like parallel parking is cheating. Like
Yeah.
Well, now my car has a fucking
I can't-
top-down camera, the bird's
I
eye
think
view.
about how much I love backup cameras all the time.
It's
You
funny.
got-
Wait,
oh, you got one of those birds?
Yeah, I have a bird's eye
I don't
view
even know
thing.
how those work. What is that? It's like black magic.
Yeah, it is.
How can it see all the way around your car?
It is.
How can it tell?
It's pretty intense.
My roommate has.
What is it? The USS
The-
Enterprise?
The funny thing is, Brendan and I, we went to San Diego and we rented a car, and every single time I got in the car, the first thing I would do was look at the console for the backup camera. Like when I would put the car in reverse and go, and I'm like, oh shit, it's not there.
And you gotta like turn around.
Yeah,
and you
it's
just
so
got this little
inconvenient.
window at the back of the car to
Yeah.
look
So what
through.
the fuck is this bullshit?
Oh my god, I'm gonna kill somebody.
My brother's car has cameras in the side mirrors, so you can monitor your blind
Oh,
spots.
my mom's car has that too.
I can't wait
That's
until
nuts.
like cars are just like no windows. It's just cameras all over the place and monitors inside. It's like so much easier to drive.
What frightens me is that my dad's car, it's a newer Cadillac, and it'll park itself.
Oh yeah, what's
Oh,
wrong with
yeah.
that?
That is the most insane
No.
thing in the world to me.
The creepiest one is actually the cars that can parallel park themselves.
This
What?
can.
That's what that does.
You
It
do
can.
realize cars can drive themselves now, right?
Dude, Teslas
Dude.
can drive.
Yeah.
I don't know who comfortably is going to get into a car. I saw an article the other day that was like, are we getting close to pilotless planes? I was like, fuck no, I don't want to step foot on a plane without a pilot.
No, actually you do.
Yeah.
In fact, one of the worst
Yeah.
accidents in aviation history was because one of the pilots like
No, of course.
over anticipated the autopilot and ended up crashing the plane. If he'd let the autopilot correct everything on its own,
Would've
all
been
those
fine.
people would still be alive.
Fine.
I mean,
But the fact that like, I don't want to get onto a plane where there is not a pilot anywhere to be found. Like, even if the pilot isn't, fucking sit the pilot in the back in case he's needed. I don't even care. Dude.
I remember reading
Fuck
an
that.
anecdote about pilots in training, how if you put them in a nighttime environment with no like land markers and all they have are just like their instruments to work around, there are more often than enough a lot of them that will actually exit like a fog bank completely upside down because they're not checking their instruments.
Yeah.
They're not checking the artificial horizon.
Oh, yeah, it's fucking terrible.
Hey, man, I don't know.
Dude, it's like
call me
like,
old-fashioned,
it's
but I
weird.
want a human
It's
being
weird,
to be
but
able to
you got to
react.
think about it like this: people had that same reaction when they took operators out of elevators.
Yeah. That's
Like
true.
people
Yeah.
were afraid of automatic elevators when they first started being a thing.
I'm sorry.
I mean, that's where cars are gonna go.
But
Like,
I'm sorry, we're talking about a plane that's 33,000 feet in
Yeah.
the air. Like, I don't want...
dude, my phone is smarter than I am. I would much rather it fly a plane than anybody in this room.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get to.
Like-
Cell phones. Like, because let's get back. We're not talking about automated. Just like anything, modern conveniences. Cell phones. Just going back to.
Cell phones, internet...
Yeah.
The old elevator operators were not just pushing buttons. They actually it was a
controlled it.
throttle
Yeah.
controlling how fast and where they were stopping.
Yeah.
And there were elevator accidents back in the day because of that shit.
Like, it didn't become mandatory for elevators to have, like, emergency brakes on
Safety
them until, like,
brakes, yeah.
1928.
Yeah.
Damn.
Crazy
Any
stuff,
other
man.
modern conveniences?
Cell phones, internet, food
Fleshlights.
replicators. No, that doesn't exist yet. Oh, that's gonna be great.
Chromecast. Any kind of like that.
Streaming,
Yeah, streaming stick things. Like, oh my god, I can't live without my Chromecast.
video games,
I can't live without the internet.
Well, yeah, obviously.
That's impossible.
polio vaccines.
Dude, I really feel like if the internet went away, there would be a
Dude, I'd
reckoning.
have a lot more free time.
It
I'm
wouldn't
not
be a
gonna lie.
riot. It would be
No, a
worldwide-
reckoning. There'd be a reckoning. The
Oh, yeah.
world would lose its fucking mind.
Oh, no, there would be a worldwide depression.
Yeah.
That's just from the economic
Dude, look how
perspective.
many video games I could play. I honestly wouldn't mind for a while. If the internet went out for like 2 months, I think I'd be okay.
Yeah, but what if they're the shitty launch versions that you need the day one patch for?
Not most of those.
All right.
Anyway, That's all the questions this week from patrons. Thank you all for your lovely questions. We enjoyed answering them. Every week we post a thread on patreon.com/4player where you can ask us any question you want.
Any question.
Anything.
Anything. And we'll answer it. Mm-hmm. All right, let's wrap up the show. I'm getting hungry.
Okay.
4-player minute. You know how this goes. Hype, sweat, thank you, fuck you, or any combination of those. Nolan?
Crispy, take us away.
Okay. My hype is for more Super Mario Odyssey. This game is fucking delightful. You should seriously consider buying a Switch, even if it is financially irresponsible for you to do so, just so you can play this game. It's great. My thank you for the week goes to Chris Davis for loaning me his Switch so I could play Super Mario Odyssey while he's been playing Wolfenstein. He's been very gracious on that front. My sweat goes to, I'm going to say Star Wars Battlefront 2. It's kind of like the last big benchmark of the year for me. I want it to be good, but I'm feeling a little tepid on it at the moment. I hope it'll whip me into Star Wars fervor before the new movie comes out. And my fuck you for the week goes to, yeah, you know, I'm not really, I don't have any baggage this week. I'm not really angry about it.
Say Konami.
Konami, sure.
Thank you.
Fuck you, Konami. Fuck you. Fuck you, Ubisoft. Fuck you, people who make video games.
Oh.
I'm just joking. I love you guys.
Cool. All right. My 4-player minute starts now. My hype is also for Mario. Super Mario Odyssey, to be specific. Everyone in chat keeps telling me apparently that after the big game it gets much better, like post credits. I'm pretty excited. I don't know what I'm in for, but I'm excited to find out. That's got me excited. My
Sweet Kingdoms.
My hype is for Thor Ragnarok.
Oh,
that comes out tomorrow.
This weekend.
Yes, I have tickets. Brennan and I are going to see it Saturday night. I am super fucking excited.
I'm going to see it on Tuesday
It's
night.
got really good
I've
reviews.
heard it's delightful.
Yeah, me too. So
Yeah.
I'm super excited for it.
Looks so good.
My hype is for The Last of Us 2. That trailer, while it told me nothing about Joel and Ellie, it opened up so many questions.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited. I really hope at the
Ooh.
PlayStation Experience, they tell us more.
Religious fanatics.
Yeah.
They're not just fucking assholes.
And then my hype is for side reel brings up that
Taika
Taika Waititi, the director of Thor Ragnarok. Obviously, Crispy and I love him from
Did you
What
hear
We Do
they're
in the
doing
Shadows.
a TV show of what we do in the
No,
shadows?
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, he was talking about that.
That's interesting. And then my hype is for I actually bought a projector.
Oh, I was gonna say
yeah.
you're lining off a fucking screen out there,
Yeah.
dude. As somebody who has a projector in my house, let me tell you, it's fucking wonderful.
I am excited.
It's fucking wonderful.
I'm really fucking pumped. It actually arrives tomorrow.
What are you gonna be? Are you gonna like turn it into like a movie room?
More theater, not video
as
game.
great for games.
Yeah,
better for movies.
the latency's not the best. So I mean, it's probably for like bigger movies and like TV shows. Like Brennan and I just finished Stranger Things season 2.
Oh,
and
haven't even started.
it would have been
yet.
nice if we could have watched that
I'm
on
on
like
5 episodes.
But
Same
yeah,
here.
I'm super excited with it. Super excited for it.
Soup's excited.
Yeah.
Cool. Chris Davis.
My hype this week, I'm gonna have to put to Ghost of Tsushima. I haven't played a Sucker Punch game in years. I never even played Second Son, and this looks like something just coming out the right time for what I want right now. My sweat goes to Chris and Super Mario Odyssey. I'm letting him keep it for another weekend.
Hey,
I
asked. You said it was okay.
I made a delightful offer to him. I said, sure, he can even keep it through Thanksgiving if he wanted, if he would beat Get Even, live on the feed. And his immediate no delay response
Take the Switch.
was,
Take it back. I don't want it.
No, his response immediately was, so speedrun of Super Mario Odyssey then.
Yes.
So, god damn it. Another sweat I have, I'm not feeling good about Battlefront. They still haven't been marketing it right. It's all been fucking multiplayer. They're showing nothing in the fucking single player of this game except for like cinematics. I have a bad feeling that this If this campaign is more than 4 hours,
It won't be.
it
won't be.
I don't know. And my fuck you this week has to go to Activision because people found out how loot crates work in Call of Duty World War II this week.
Oh, is this the thing where you can actually watch people open the loot crates?
So
What?
the way loot crates work in this game is that the multiplayer is set in this on Normandy Beach
Okay.
with 48 other players in a social space, and you can anywhere on the map you can drop like a loot crate marker in which out of the sky will fall a loot crate, and it will open right in front of you. But the thing is, it opens in front of everybody else on the screen. They can watch you open up your own loot crates and see what you got in front of you and mess with you. And I'm like, this is
there are going to be
this
some...
is maximum loot crate bullshittery in that you can actively peer pressure people right in front of you into buying fucking loot crates. And that drives me up the fucking wall. Especially when you think of in combination of the recent patent that was revealed about how Activision had patented a matchmaking system that was specifically designed to encourage people to actually buy loot crates and DLC based on how they get match made with other people. Like the system is by the patent is designed to where it will match make you with players that have content you don't have and are superior to you because they have that content in order to trick you into buying loot crates and that content.
Hey, it was going to get worse before it got better. So just saying.
That is
just putting that out
fucking
there.
bonkers to
Yeah,
me.
it is.
And
It is.
because of that, I am actually kind of upset that I bought Destiny 2.
Wow.
I actually gave them my money.
That
Why?
sucks.
Why is that upsetting?
Because they get some of my money and they don't deserve it for shit that they're pulling like this.
Well, you've given them money in the past too, so
Yeah, but they didn't
Why stop
do
now?
that bad of stuff in the past. In addition to a $50 season pass and maps that are locked behind that season pass
here's the
that
real
were
way-
in all the other previous games.
first of all, just one way or another, it probably in the grand scheme of things doesn't really matter much. But if you don't want to give them your money, don't give them your money for World War II.
Yeah, I mean, Activision can suck a dick. I mean, who cares?
Well said.
I'm sorry.
Well
that,
said.
I'm sorry. That
Nick, bring us
denotes
home.
that sucking a dick is a bad thing. It's not. Fuck Activision.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at
If you
all.
want
All
to
right.
suck a dick, we're not going to stop you. It's okay.
Hype my hype this week. I was gonna give it to Ghost of Tsushima, but Chris Davis has stolen it out from under me. So I'm going to instead say I am super hyped for Spider-Man. That trailer looks dope as hell, and I really, really, really hope this ends up being the best Spider-Man game ever made. Like, it looks like it has the potential to be.
I mean, it's only got to beat like 2 other games.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. But like,
It's got to beat the PS1 original and Spider-Man 2.
It's got to be better than Enter Electro.
there was a reason when that game was announced to be done by Insomniac that I was kind of worried, just because I don't necessarily associate those kinds of games with Insomniac. So their inexperience in that, open world superhero genre kind of has me a little nervous. I don't know. I don't know.
You didn't play Sunset Overdrive, though.
No, I did. I did. It was good. I mean, it wasn't like.
I'm surprised
tell
you can't sense like where this is coming from.
I'll tell you. I mean, it's not that I don't sense where it's coming from. It's just, if you want to bring up Sunset Overdrive, I'll tell you there are Spider-Man games that I think I like more than Sunset Overdrive.
Sunset Overdrive's not a Spider-Man game.
I know, but he's using that as a defense for why I shouldn't be worried about Spider-Man. Point is, I'm super excited. I just hope it doesn't fall apart. I'm gonna just go ahead and get this out of the way. My fuck you of the week goes to Konami. I've been spending a lot of time working on my top 5, my audio for my top 5 Silent Hill games, and it has me thinking a lot about Silent Hill and thinking a lot about Silent Hills, and fuck Konami to death.
Yeah, that's true.
My thank you of the week goes to Konami for making Silent Hill.
What?
I'm just kidding. Fuck you guys, seriously. What's going on here? My my other hype is there's so much to be excited for right now. Dude, fucking, I'm as fucked as February already is. I'm excited for it, man.
A lot of good games.
Far Cry 5 comes out. Moss comes out. Oh my god! Don't show me that, Crispy. I'm gonna laugh. And like, I can't even think. There's like 3 or 4 other games that I know of that are coming out that month. Now Monster Hunter's up there as well. I don't fucking
Monster
know.
Hunter's. I only got eyes for you, baby.
I'm hyped for February, but it's gonna be another one of those months where I can't play everything. And man, I guess I'll give my real thank you to Nintendo, just because, the Nintendo Switch is so fucking cool.
It's pretty good.
I can't get over it, man. Whatever.
No,
oh, fuck you, Chris Davis. I'll stroke Nintendo's dick all I want, man. The fact that I've been playing that thing every day for like at lunch or before I go to bed every night, before I even fucking without even having to sit in front of my TV, I'm playing things like Zelda and
Reggie, he suck your dick.
We were at a party over the weekend, and those commercials for the Switch where everyone's like at a party playing Mario Kart made a lot more sense.
Nolan at one point during that,
God damn, we should
during
have done
those
that.
festivities, at one point Nolan was like, "I'll be honest, guys, I'm thinking about going out to my car and getting my Switch," and I was like, "Don't do it." I thought about it too. I had it in the car as well.
I was gonna break one.
Well, glad y'all had a good, fun time at the party.
We were talking about playing Switch, so it wasn't that great.
The broadcast.
But yeah, I don't know. Thank you, Nintendo. This fucking thing is cool. I just hope. You want to talk about sweat? I'm worried that they can't keep up.
Yeah,
with
momentum.
The momentum, man.
Yeah.
What are they gonna do? How are they gonna fuck this up?
I mean, they've done
How are they gonna
Mario.
fuck this up?
They've done Mario and Zelda in the same year. They've both been fucking fantastic. Next year,
They're gonna fuck it up by those first-party Nintendo games being the only good games on the console.
Yoshi and Kirby.
Ugh.
Metroid's coming.
Eventually,
There's a
Octopath Traveler.
There's a Kirby Arena Brawler game.
Hey, but
what
you know
the hell
what?
does that mean?
But you know what? I feel like the platform's library is growing super quick. So whatever. I'm excited.
glad that it's not going to be
At
just
least
my
for
Zelda
Nintendo.
machine.
At least for Nintendo. All right, we need to wrap this up,
Yep.
guys. Thank you so much for listening or for watching us. We broadcast this show every Thursday night, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time on Twitch. 4pp.tv is the best place to watch us at. You can also watch us broadcast games every single night over at 4pp.tv. If you haven't yet, we'd invite you guys to join our Discord. It's discord.gg/4player. And of course, you can find us at 4playernetwork.com, where we have all of our podcasts and everything. Check it out. We'd appreciate it. But with that said, I think we're going to call it a night. So join us again next Thursday night for another episode. Yeah. Good night.
bye guys.
Goodbye.
Bye.